Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another Procrastinators Podcast interview series. I am here with the one and only Hippocrit.
Yep, he is.
Hippo, I'm curious about the fact that a lot of the time on the show, people call you Gibbon. Why is this?
That is because it used to be that's our secret brony names. We all have them. That's our secret identity. That's my one. I'm a Gibbon. It's just my old channel. It's gibbontake/youtube.com.
Yeah.
And that's really all it is. It's a nicer name to say than Hippo, so some people couldn't get into the
I think it's just
the
like
habit of saying Hippo all the time.
Yeah, it's that we called you Gibbon for so long. And then you changed to Hippocrit, but because you've always kept both channels active, it's kind of like how with Jesse, we all call him Jess, or we called him like Drowning in Footwear for a long time, even though he had other channels that were even bigger, you know.
Well, we called him Jesse Wood most of the time.
Right. But like with you, it was like, because we've never called you by just your name, which if you want to let the audience know what it is, then
There's other places where they can find out.
Oh yeah. Gonna leave it mysterious?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure people know already. They can put it on that quiz.
Oh, was it?
Procrastinators quiz.
So yeah, we have the hardest time deciding if I usually say Hippo, Nate usually says Gibbon. I think Ben usually says
it
Hippo.
doesn't matter. People know that I'm being addressed.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's confusing for anybody who doesn't know about your old channel, you know?
Yeah, well that's it. It's Give and Take. On that channel you'll find my brony stuff, and a huge amount of weird, crazy nonsense that may or may not be entertaining.
Surely you've done more weird vlogs than you have brony content by now, right?
I have. I think by now it's mostly just weird shit.
Yeah, which is usually great. In fact, it's always great.
I don't know about always, but yeah, it's very experimental. I like it.
So how did you get your start on YouTube?
Well, my very start on YouTube, I think I made in like 2007 or 2008, and I had Windows Movie Maker, and I made a video about putting Google images set to a Beatles song, and I thought it was really cool, and my dad liked it. I don't know why I made it, but I made it, and I made a YouTube account because it was a thing, and I put it on there. And that was the very beginning. After that, I did a few like stop motion things, and then when I really started doing stuff was with the pony fandom, with all the stuff. I tried doing YouTube poops at first because I was really into that. They weren't that good, but you know, I kind of laughed once. And after that, I got into doing compilations, which the first compilation was like, I don't know where I came up with the idea, but it was like a summer after school, and I wasn't doing anything, and I was really bored, and I was into the pony fandom, so I thought I'll just make a video of all the times every pony says no. And it was a huge undertaking because they say it a lot of times.
Yeah.
And it took a long time, and I made it, and I got like thousands of subscribers within a few, hours, days, and it was overwhelming. And after that, I just felt like I had to continue, and I did.
So when you made these compilations, every single one you made, you had to watch the entire show, right?
Yeah, so, well, I didn't have to watch the entire show. What I did, I'm trying to think, the way I went about it changed over time. At first, I was just going through, and I had a little notepad open, like a, digital notepad, and every time I'd have all the characters' names, or I would, whenever what I did, I went to the scripts, the online transcripts of the episodes, and I would Control F for the word, and then I would go to that point in the episode by memory, like when they say this line, oh, I kind of know where that is, that's like 5 minutes in.
Right.
I go in there, and then I see them say it, and I pause, I tally one on the thing, and I just keep going, and yeah, it's really retarded and autistic when I think about it, but it was kind of fun.
It's I've always wondered like how ridiculously familiar you got with the show through doing that. Like, did you watch the episodes like
Yeah.
100 times or like?
It sort of weirded me out too. Like, it made a very big difference in how I view or think about those episodes compared to the ones that came after I stopped doing the compilations, like season 4.
Right.
Because season 4 was like when I started doing the analysis, and that carries its own sort of like I remember those for having to watch them twice and think about them, and the other ones I just know lots and lots of little parts of them all over the place, and it's a very big disconnect from each, like season 3 to season 4 and then beyond. Season 5 is actually the first like season I feel like I watched as a guy watching the show
Yeah.
because of all that nonsense.
So those compilations, like, I remember because I saw them from fairly early on to them being created, because they would get promoted like really heavily on Equestria Daily. They'd get like a whole post to themselves. Like, I guess
Yeah.
they were seen as something very valuable because of the effort that they took, or just the sheer weirdness of their existence.
I think what I was pretty happy with the fact that I had come up with this idea, because the amount of work put in, I felt like nobody would go to the trouble of actually trying to compete with me, so
Right.
I could just have all those posts to myself. So I would just do all the words I could think of and get 1 billion subscribers, and it kind of worked. I had like 15,000. No, that was later. I think I got to like 9,000 or something
Right.
through that alone.
So you actually, among the procrastinators, you had one of the bigger pony channels. Like, other than me and Tom, you were probably the biggest out of everybody, right?
At that point, yeah. I mean, T-Bap I think overtook me at one point.
Hmm.
I plateaued at, during the analysis stuff. I plateaued around 16k,
So
or maybe 15k, and they went further.
so you would do all these videos with the show, but then what really brought you to my attention was when you did the same thing with actual analysis videos for the word analysis. How long did that take?
Oh, well, that started because I did that one compilation of all the analysis people. Like, it was ridiculous, because that was the biggest one, but nobody cares about it. It's the one where I went through all of your videos, all of Tom's videos, all of basically like 100 different people, maybe. I looked into all of their videos and watched all of them, and since there wasn't any transcripts, I had to literally watch every single video. I think I can't remember how long it was, but it was thousands, maybe not thousands of hours, hundreds of hours of watching these shitty videos. And after that, I did the analysis assemblage thing, so I already knew about a lot of these people, so I could just sort of go, okay, I guess I'll get all the opinions of everybody together, because usually people say the same thing over and over, and if I can get the unique parts of everybody's conversation, it could be an interesting thing. It kind of was, but probably not really.
Well, I was
that
first
much.
referring to the one that was just analysis, the compilation, where it was
Oh yeah, that was.
every time anyone used the word analysis in an analysis video, and you compiled them all, and I had like 150 something uses or something like that, like some ridiculous number, right?
Yeah.
Like, I said it fucking constantly, and it was really funny. And I remember taking it and setting it to like this insane like noise song that like me and Victor had put together, and just like put that over it and
Oh,
released
yeah.
that on Digipro After Dark.
I remember seeing that. I remember seeing that and being really, really happy that you had enjoyed it that much.
Yeah, it was great. And then after that you started, it was with season 4, right, that you did the analysis assemblage, where it was like taking a new episode would come out, everyone would release a video, and then you would assemble all the best points they made into a video, right? Is that how you'd put it?
Assembling all the different points. Like, if people were arguing with each other, I would bring up each other's topics, but really, they're not very... The people coming up with things is like... There's only so many ways you can view a certain episode,
Right.
and I got bored of it pretty quickly.
So then you decided to throw your hat
yeah.
into doing it yourself, doing analysis videos.
Yeah, which was much more fun because it was me, and I'm important, and I'm cool.
Yeah, and the way I remember the trajectory going was that at first you were trying more to be like an analysis guy, and then very quickly you seemed to stop caring about that angle and wanted to just do jokes, and they became much more comedy oriented.
Yeah, I think it was the Christmas one or something. Like, it was over Christmas, and I hadn't done the video because it was Christmas time and stuff was happening. So I was like, I don't know, blah, 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 and it was hilarious, and I really liked it, and everyone really liked it, so I just thought I'd be more funny instead of caring too much about reviewing the show. And then Jesse, I found Jesse's videos, and he introduced me to all different types of, ways of being a brony and enjoying the show and hating everyone, and that was cool. Yeah. And so that sort of became the second wave, and then I died. That was the hippo, the give and take journey.
I know that I knew about you, but how did Jesse find out about you? Because I assume you would have said something about him at some point to draw his attention.
I think Jesse had seen that I had mentioned him in one of my first analysis assemblage videos. So he noticed that. I don't think he had talked to me then, but yeah. I think I talked to you. I remember when I first became Skype friends with you, we were playing that MMO, the Pony MMO, Legends of Equestria.
Yeah.
And I saw you in the game, and I was like, holy shit, it's him. So I'll see if I can be friends, and I jumped onto a video you were making.
Yeah,
and then after that,
for anyone, I mean, I don't expect anyone to track this down, but me and this dude DJ Calcos had done. It was like Digi and Calcos do Equestria. We were playing the betas of this, or alpha rather, of this Pony MMO that they were making. And the second video we did, we just happened to run into Give and Take, but you didn't have a mic, so we were just kind of like just showing you.
I think I did have a mic.
Did you? I don't remember you saying anything in the video.
I didn't say much. That was the thing. I was really nervous. Oh shit, he's an internet celebrity, and I'm being with him. It's cool, and I'm scared.
But
yeah,
I do remember that. That was probably the first thing we had that was like a collaboration in any way.
Yeah, and then what happened after that? I think Jesse. I think I talked to you about making the faggot compilation because I had found out about Jesse through you, and I looked at all his videos and I thought, this guy's great. I'll do a compilation to get his attention, and I told you about it, and I told you not to tell him because I knew you were friends with him.
Right.
And then I made it, and he saw it, and it was cool, and I think I added him on Skype somehow.
That's still up, right, on Give and Take?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to Give and Take and look up the faggot compilation every time Jesse says faggot in any of his videos. That was great. And how did you get his older stuff? Because you had the Tucker Todd Ferguson character. You had the stuff from videos that are no longer on his channel.
I think I went to his Blip channel, actually, and I found his old Final Fantasy VII Let's Play and a Battletoads and Double Dragon Let's Play, and I looked through all those, and the old school podcast with
Johnny.
No, what was it? There's a Johnny Old School, and his friends. Those guys.
Aiden
that
and,
podcast. Aiden and
Cinemasochist.
Yeah, I listened to those, and I basically I actually went on his Facebook account. I typed in his name. I found him on Facebook, and I got an image that I used for the thumbnail. So I basically stalked everything I could find of Jesse just so I could make that video.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And it was good. So yeah, I guess that's probably when we all started talking, because at some point we all did a Horsecast together where we brought you, or first it was that you and him did one because I was gone and he wanted to do a podcast, and then the three of us did one together before we brought in T-Bap and became the Horseshoe Crew. So yeah, and then...
And I think that first podcast with me and Jesse was really awkward. I can't remember, but
it was pretty bad. I remember listening to it because I was at my girlfriend's house at the time, and that's why I couldn't be on. And it came out, and I listened to it at some point, and I was just like, what the fuck are they talking about? It was like 40 minutes and
It's funny,
lots of
'cause I didn't-
pauses and like long periods of time between dialogue.
See, I didn't expect that because I didn't think of Jesse as like a quiet person like me. But if you think about how we act in the Procrastinators podcasts, we are the guys who say nothing for a long time and then, chip in with a little thing.
I've always said that.
And then when only us in a podcast, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen
We
to...
can't do it.
If you listen to any of the old horse casts, like, I was always talking way more than Jesse. Like, I would just go on and on and on, and then he would, like, come up with a big point. And it's like the stuff he says is more memorable, but if you actually listen to it, it's, like, mostly me. And I really don't think it was until the Blue Glow that I ever felt like Jesse could just go on by himself, And, like, the early Blue Glows have way more editing, where, like, he has to cut a lot more, and now he's gotten better at just, like, stream of consciousness talking, so I definitely think it's a skill he's developed, but at the time, not so much.
Yeah. Stream of consciousness talking is fun.
Yeah.
It's hard to get going. I can occasionally do it on my own gaming channel that I have, but I haven't been using it recently.
Yeah, Gibbon Gaming.
The gibbongaming.org.
I very much enjoyed your Dark Souls 2 videos on Gibbon Gaming. It's just the most spiteful, angry, even more so than mine, because mine are more bitchy. Yours are just like, I hate the world. Like, it feels so raw and real.
Yeah, that was the what was that? What was I doing? I was killing what I didn't realize was like the second to last boss of the game, and I was just running back down through that dark cavern and going insane because they were annoying.
Yeah. Well,
that's a good video, even though it's kind of shitty looking.
Well, the one I remember more is the Aldia's Keep one, where you were just like you hadn't realized yet that you were playing with the Covenant that makes the game like 3 times harder.
Yeah.
And you're just like so mad, and I was like watching you like, this looks like like just getting my blood boiling, like this game's so fucking bad. This is finally like, it was a direct result of those videos of yours that I ended up trying to do my own Dark Souls 2 videos, because like it reignited my hatred for that game, and I was like, oh, somebody's got to do it. Someone's got to kill it, But then my videos were stupid. Just
so people know, I did beat the game on that difficulty setting, because I was like, fuck it, I've gone this far, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And I killed him.
At like level 180, I want to say, that you beat the game at.
Yeah.
And you're generally great at Dark Souls. Like Dark Souls 1, right?
Yeah. I am infamous among, I don't know, a few people, that I killed Ornstein and Smo and Manus. No, not Manus. Artorias on my first try through the game.
Yeah.
And my brother can vouch for that because he was watching me, and he was like, holy shit, you did it.
Because you leveled your,
cool.
like, endurance to, like, a comically high degree, right? Like, you did, like, insane grinding or something like that?
I don't know whether I leveled my endurance that much. I think I was just using fat rolls and wearing really strong armor.
Right.
And had a lot of health. But yeah, there was a point in my, fighting Artorias for the first time. He hit me with one of his charging attacks, and I was drinking my Estus, and I didn't get knocked down. And I thought that was worth mentioning to you guys. And you were like, what?
Blew my mind into 1,000 tiny pieces.
Yeah.
And now you do challenge runs all the time, right?
Oh yeah, I did a challenge run of endurance by leveling just endurance, which is actually not that difficult because it makes sure that you can roll all the time and you have really good shield usage. So you could, at the end of the game, with 99 endurance, I could wear the entire giant set plus 5, and I could do fast rolls, and it was really cool.
That is fucking intense.
Yeah, and after that I started doing a faith one, which I leveled only faith to 99, which actually was also not so bad after I got to level 70 in faith, because then I got this thing, the Wrath of the Gods, which is like an area of effect blast that damages things, and so I could, I could run into that little place in the painted world of Ariamis with all the slime guys, and I could blow them up and kill them all at once and then run back and just grind like that.
That sounds beautiful.
It was.
Sounds like a like a like a, I don't know. What's a phrase that means really good thing? I drew a complete mental blank. So,
It's sublime.
so Hippo, you are a man of many interesting talents. Um,
I am.
Besides being a funny man, a punmeister for sure. Someone whose Twitter is nothing but weird puns and fucking bizarre jokes. And general comedic guy, YouTuber, but you're also a musician, yeah?
Yeah. Never been in a sort of a professional band sort of thing, but I play guitar and I can play bass and drums and stuff. I very rarely play keyboards, but I can. But guitar's my main thing, and I'm pretty good at it.
Haven't you played at a few
like
live
playing
shows, like with your
songs.
dad?
Oh yeah, I played with my dad's a drummer. My dad's cool. He's a drummer and he drums in a band, two bands. There was a band that he formed with dads from my old school, and they called it Dad Zone. And then there's a band that he had with this jazz band he was in. I don't know whether he's in that anymore, but yeah. And he had like two like pretty good bands that I've been listening to recently actually, because he's got all these old cassettes of his like studio recordings and stuff, and I've been going through them and recording them onto, I've got this like cassette to USB thing, so I can download them and make them digital for him. And yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I've played in a few live bands. I'm actually going to be playing in a live rock concert at a goonery, which is a whole other thing. A goonery is this camp for disabled kids where I volunteer and help and stuff. And this year we've organized a rock concert, and I'm going to be playing a bunch of rock songs for them. And that's cool.
Nice.
So yeah.
You can play a lot of classic dad rock.
Yeah, I like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, whenever we talk music in the PCP, Hippo has very specific tastes. You like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. What are some others?
Queen, David Bowie. I mean, there's loads. There's whenever I think of like a list of bands, I forget all of them. AC/DC's a pretty good one, but anything that's cool.
Yeah, cool and from the 70s or early 80s or 60s, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I like rock from any time period. I mean, Muse is one of my favorite bands, and they're still going strong. They're like one of the biggest bands in the world at the moment. But I'm not very much into like weird indie shit like you are, I guess.
Yeah. You like you seem to like guitar driven rock, like stuff where the guitars are
guitar driven rock, and generally it usually is massively popular just by happenstance.
Right. In the Procrastinators Discord room, we have our PCP channel, and then we have the musical corner. And every so often, Hippo will just pop into the musical corner and start playing a bunch of like Beatles and Led Zeppelin songs on his acoustic guitar, and we'll just come in and listen to him. And it's like, it's the most relaxing possible experience in the world.
I'm glad you like it. I didn't expect that to be cool, but I guess it is.
Yeah.
I made that corner. I don't know why, really. I guess I was just like imagining me playing for you guys or something over the internet, but I assumed the internet would make it all annoying to listen to, like with lag and stuff.
I mean, it sounds like shit, but it's still fun to listen to. It's kind of like, I mean, I listen to a lot of shitty sounding music, Like, I listen to a lot of black metal, which is deliberately recorded badly for the atmosphere. So to me, it kind of has this atmosphere of like, it sounds like if you were outside next to a babbling brook and someone about 30 feet away was playing acoustic guitar, and you're just hearing the acoustic guitar mixed in with all the other atmospheric noise, then that's kind of what it sounds like. but with like
Well,
weird
that's nice.
digital pop in and pop out. So it's like all of that, but it's inside the internet. It's like a cyberpunk future thing.
It's an electronic babbling brook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's going to be a VR future where we can actually make that exact scenario I described happen. So what would you say is your outright favorite band? Beatles or Led Zeppelin or something else?
It's usually Led Zeppelin, but I don't really like having a favorites. I like having a ton of favorites. I don't like choosing one out of all of them, because it depends on what I feel like listening to and how long it's been since I've listened to my quote-unquote favorite.
Do you have a favorite song to play?
I have quite a lot of songs that I've learned to play, and I can't remember my favorite one. I guess at the moment it's Back in Black by AC/DC, because that riff is really cool.
That's the one that's like ding, 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 right? Or am I thinking of a different one?
No, that's the
You
one.
saw them recently, right? With Axl Rose as the lead singer.
Yeah, the guy, what's his name? I've only gotten into AC/DC recently. I knew they were cool, but I only started listening to them recently, so I don't know the guy's name. But the singer was sick, and Axl Rose was singing for him, and I went to see him live at the London Olympic Stadium the beginning of the month. And it was really good. They had cannons and a giant fat inflatable lady, and and a giant cool bell that was tolling. It was a Hell's Bells. It was great.
What were the cannons shooting?
Blanks, hopefully.
Okay, cool. I mean, I saw a Coldplay show once, and they were shooting. They had cannons that shot confetti out over the audience. Like,
Now that's a fake cannon. These were real cannons because they were like actually super loud and but they were
full size
firing blanks.
cannons. I see.
Yeah, there was like 9 of them, and that was the
Holy
finale.
shit.
For those about to rock, we salute you. Boom! It's like whoa. It's the coolest thing I've ever
fucking
seen.
intense. That's awesome. All right. So yeah, your dad performed in these bands. You are a musician. Both of your brothers are musicians too, right? On some level.
Yeah. Well, my brother Henry is kind of a budding bassist, but he hasn't really been getting into it as much as my other brother Charlie, who got really into ragtime music. All that sort of stuff you see in like YouTube videos where they're trying to be old-timey and they
Right.
use stock ragtime music. He actually knows how to play all that on the piano, which is really cool. And then he got into a lot of Motown and stuff, Stevie Wonder and David Bowie, and he knows a lot of cool shit, and he's good. He's really good at it. He's good at piano, he's good at bass.
To ask you-
He's going to be playing with me in that rock concert.
To ask you more, like, who are your brothers? How old are they, and what do they do? Because they're fairly interesting as well.
They are. Well, fairly. Henry's 2 years younger than me, so he'd be 20, I think. And Charlie is my youngest brother. He's the piano guy, and he is 19, I guess. I can't remember. But, I mean, I don't pay too much attention to their literal age. I just know when their birthday is. But, yeah, Henry's actually kind of a neat at the moment, but he's cool. I mean, he's not like depressed or anything. He's got his new room and stuff.
He's just
And
not doing shit.
He's not doing much.
Now, one of
But
them,
it's okay, I believe in him.
one of them has a YouTube channel, right?
That's Henry. He's got a little YouTube channel. He posts some confessionals sort of things. Not too in-depth, but it's interesting to listen to from my perspective, because it's the sort of thing he doesn't say to me directly all that much. And some other weirder stuff.
And he's worked on some of your weird-ass give-and-take videos, like holding the camera.
He's usually the cameraman when I need one. He's up for all that sort of stuff. He likes my channel. He likes all the procrastinators. I've actually gotten him into the PCP Procrastinated podcast. Has allowed him to get into everybody who, into Jesse, into you, into Devu, into all the guys. He likes them all. And through Nate, he's actually started watching anime.
Oh, cool.
Starting with Gurren Lagann. So yeah.
And he's the one who
and Undertale.
He's the one who dressed up as Bloodborne, right?
Yeah, he had the fucking. He likes buying really cool outfits that he never wears because he never goes anywhere. But the Bloodborne thing came out of nowhere. It's like, you just came into my room dressed like that, and he said, and I was like, oh shit, better film this. Whenever I see you guys' videos, I feel like you communicate largely through laughs. Like we do. It's weird because it's hard to explain an example. But say for example, there's like dinner is coming, dinner time. Mum calls up the stairs and only I hear it, so I go to the door. I open it and I go, yeah, and then they know exactly what to do. They just come out. It's not like "nya" is the word. It's just the fact that I came to the door and didn't say anything of worth means that it's dinner time. I know exactly what you're talking about because I'll go into Victor or Shade's room and just be like just peek open the door and I'll just be like, and they'll be like, and I'm like, and they're like, what do you want? There's food. That often happens. I love. That's cool. Oh man, little brothers. It's fun that we're both me, you, and Devu are all the eldest of 3 siblings. And I forgot Devu. I think Ben is too. I meant to ask Nate this when I finally get to his interview because I'm pretty sure they have a sister that Ben just never brought up in his interview. I don't know why they don't talk about her at all. Yeah, maybe she's too cool. We never mention her. I don't know the first thing about her. Apparently she's a tattoo artist. So. Oh yeah, I do know that because Nate said it on Twitter the other day. But enough about them. This is your fucking interview. So, do you have any plans with your musical career? You have a band camp, which probably not a lot of people know about. But it has some great songs like "Chicken in a Basketball." That's a fan favorite. That one. Ben loves that fucking song, and he always brings it up. You recently did a rap song about being sick, and that was. I did a whole album about being sick. Oh, that's right. I was sick, and for 7 days or so, I think I recorded a song. In whatever state I was, and I got worse over the course of the album, and then I got better by the end, and it was really cool. And it just so happened to end on the day Homestuck ended. Oh. It was the perfect combination. Which has nothing to do with it, but it was cool. It was completely disgusting, but great in that way. It was the kind of thing where I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, no! Yeah! What is the Bandcamp's URL anyways? I think it's just hippocrit, one word. Bandcamp/hippocrit. I don't know. You can find it, not too hard. I think I've got it linked on one of my channels. Yeah. But yeah, go check that out. There's not too many songs, and some of them are pretty good. I think from the Sick album, "I'm a Piece of Shit" was pretty good. A lot of people like that. So then, aside from music and YouTube, you also are an animator. That's what you actually just finished college for, right? You got your degree? Yeah, I got my degree in animation. I'm an animator. Is that I make associate's or bachelor's degree, right? Bachelor's, yeah. Yeah. And you made this great student film, Spiders Are People Too, which is currently up on Gibbontake, I think. Everyone watched that. It's fucking great. I watched it again, and I liked it just as much as the first time. Yeah, I like all the student films I've made. I'm pretty proud of them. I'm not sure about animation in general, though. I'm good at it, but I'm not a fucking fine artist when it comes to animation. I'm just sort of I can make them, and they're fun, but they take a long time. I'm gonna be doing more animation, I think. I've got a potential documentary thing I'm doing, and my parents are probably going to be looking for work for me, which is nice of them, but I don't know.
I mean, I think in the case of your animation, personally, I'm less impressed with the animation as I am with the directing of the animation, where your comedic timing is always perfect, and
Yeah,
just,
everybody's always said that. That my
yeah,
comedic timing in editing is my strongest point, and
yeah,
it's true. I know
and
when
also
to start a joke.
and also just knowing the right like the storyboarding element. I don't know if you actually storyboard them, but they're very coherent and easy to follow, in a way that I think is like, it's amazing to me that you did everything on Spiders Are People Too, because a lot of those are like, it's like a lot of different skill sets went into that, you know? Even the sound effects
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
don't.
are great.
Yeah, I guess I'm good at sound design as well. I don't know how. I think it's just I picked it up, but and I'm good at like noticing when a shot is good and
Yeah.
using it in my own stuff. But I don't really like go over the storyboards too many times to get them perfect. They're just sort of let's do a from the over the shoulder or behind the thing or from a weird wide angle. I don't know, and it usually works out really well. So I guess I just have a knack for that as well.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm good at it.
I agree. Um, so I would say that this also applies to your like the live action segments of your videos. Like I always find them to be highly inventive and entertaining, and you do lots of little like stop motion stuff that like it. I think when I look at your videos versus like let's say JonTron, whom I know you're in my camp of thinking he's totally gone to shit.
JonTron?
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry, you cut out while you said JonTron. I
Oh,
thought you didn't say his name.
I was saying that you're in my camp of thinking JonTron's gone to shit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But he
Well,
was
I
a huge
mean,
influence on
he's
you.
he's very he was a very huge influence. I mean, the idea that he'd started in 2010, and at the time, like everybody who was big had started like as soon as YouTube had started, and he started in 2010 and he got that big. I was like, whoa, you can still just start whenever you need to, and if you're good, you'll make it. So yeah, and he was like the best I had seen, aside from AVGN. And I really wanted to. It rekindled my desire to be one of those guys, because I always thought I wanted to, but I sort of fell out of the idea once I realized how difficult it would be to begin at this stage.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm still beginning kind of, but I'm doing okay. I'll get there.
So the reason I brought JonTron up is that like he's got these videos now where you can take one look at it at any shot and you'd be like, oh, this is shot on a nice camera. These sets look expensive. You know, it's like quote unquote high effort. But I think the writing and delivery of the jokes is always just kind of like whatever. And when I think of like a great use of effort, I think of the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone opening, where there's a part where like a hooded cape like stop motion animates onto your body, and it looks amazing.
That wasn't stop. That wasn't stop motion. That was just me filming it in reverse. Well, I filmed it falling off me, and then I did it in reverse.
Oh, okay.
It looked like it was just flying up into me.
Yeah,
But yeah.
It looks hilarious though, and like you've done a lot of tricks like that where you really just do something inventive with the camera. Lots of green screen, especially all the weird shit on Gibbontake. Like most of those videos is like you had one idea of a cool thing to do with a camera and based the whole video around that. And I'm always like, man, that's fucking ingenious. Why didn't I think of doing something like that, you know?
Yeah, really, Gibbontake is my experimental grounds, and if something really works, then I'll try and use it in a hypocrite video.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like doing weird shit with the camera. It's funny because all that sort of skit stuff, I never really plan it. I sort of just say, all right, I know what the voiceover is going to be in the script, and I have ideas for like what the slapstick will be in the skit, but I don't know how I'm going to film it until I'm there, and I tell my brother, all right, stand here and sort of zoom in as I say this,
Right.
and then he does, and then we look at it, and it's like, yeah, that's good, all right, let's next thing. And then I go into the editing thing, and everything looks pretty good. And even when it doesn't, I can sort of make it look good with, fast cuts and stuff.
Right.
It's fun.
The whole Sly Cooper live action skit where you break into like the what was it, a museum?
Yeah.
That felt so real. Like it was because it was just your brother who was dressed up as a guard, right? But he had like a legit. Is that one of the random outfits he buys? Like, did he just have that?
I think he just had some cool black gloves, and that made him look official, and
Right.
some like combat, black combat trousers, and he had this weird hook that came off of wardrobe, and he stuck it in his pocket, and on the hook we put these wrought iron keys that I'd bought like at a souvenir at a castle once, and it just looked it was just perfect.
Yeah.
I had this walking stick as a hook, as a cane, and I got him. Apparently people went up to him thinking that he was a real bodyguard. He was just saying, no, it's nothing, I'm no one.
That's fantastic. Like, I really appreciate that kind of stuff because, I made all those old Project Awesomeness videos, as you've seen, where we really would just, like, take whatever was lying around the house and, like, that's our props. And if you can use those and make it still look good and, like, communicate the point, then to me it's even funnier than, like, having the real thing,
Yeah. It's that sort of, like, homemade quality that, JonTron's lacking at the moment. He's got all this cool stuff, and it's like, okay, it would have been funny if
You cut out. I can't hear you anymore.
oh no, you're cutting out.
Hippo.
Cut out. What happened? My computer's weird.
So you have this strong fixation on the PlayStation 2, it seems. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's my favorite console of all time. All the best games are on it, and it's the best. It's the best one. All of them suck except that one.
Was that your first console, or did you have one before it?
No, I had a PlayStation 1, but I didn't have very many games for it. The PlayStation 2 was when it all sort of got knocked into 12th gear, and I got all my favorite games were on that. And then the real reason I think I like the PlayStation 2 so much, or rather that I base my channel off it, is because not many people make PS2 based videos, and if they do, they're not very good.
Right.
Like, there's not a JonTron of the PS2 area, so I am that guy.
Yeah. Which is odd to think about, but it's true. Like, there's a lot of... Like, when I got into those people, like JonTron and AVGN, like, I had never played those old games, so to me it was like they're talking about a forgotten era. Like, it didn't even occur to me that those were games they actually grew up with. It's like I thought they were going back to, like, before their own time. Because for me, like, PS2 would be, like your videos are, like, gonna take me back to the past. Like, that's how I feel. Like, watching Ratchet and Clank, I'm like, oh, Ratchet and Clank, I remember when I was a lad,
Yeah.
So...
I like all that nostalgic stuff.
Yeah.
And also the PS3 sucks. That's another thing.
Yeah, I wanted you to get into that, because what is it about everything after the PS2 that you hate? Besides the Souls games.
Well, what... Oh, yeah, the Soul games are great. But I think it was mostly... was a lot of things. One of the things was that all my favorite franchises had either been dropped or replaced with something that sucked, like Uncharted. Jack was better than Uncharted. But there's other things like the new Ratchet and Clank game on PS3 wasn't that good, and it ended on a cliffhanger. That annoyed me. And in general, AAA gaming at that time felt more like, let's see how realistic we can make everything, rather than let's have a fun, cool world where you can do things.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It just felt like all my favorite things about the PS2, the colors, the stuff, the cool characters, the wacky worlds, that was seen as childish, and now we got to be we got to be making, lens flares and shadows that look really pixely when you look at them, but they're sort of moving, so it's cool. It's all about the lighting effects and the rendering, and I didn't care for it. And I just sort of grew out of playing games for a long time.
Yeah, and since then you've sort of, like, what games have you liked since the PS2 era?
I've liked plenty of games since the PS2 era. I think after I got annoyed with the PS3, I sort of went to the DS, and I played DS games and stuff. But in console games, it was really just been Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Demon Souls.
I really have had, like,
they're cool things.
I've long time had it in my head that, to me, the DS was by far the best console for games over the last generation. Because it really did follow up the PS2.
That, yeah.
Like, the PS2 had an unbelievably huge library of tons of totally unique games, and the DS had the same. It had this unbelievably large library of great games. It's like the best-selling console of all time, but no one talks about it.
It's got Phoenix Wright, it's got Professor Layton, it's got goddamn things.
I think it's a combination of no one knowing how to capture from the DS. I think that's, like, really hamstrung it from being talked about in, like, games media, that, like, it's so hard to take footage from it and talk about it. And, like, I feel like whenever someone talks about Phoenix Wright, like, I know tons of Phoenix Wright fans, but I've seen no Phoenix Wright analysis videos, with the exception of the one you did on Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. How the fuck did you capture footage for that? Did you steal it all?
Well, I stole it all. I either filmed my DS with a camera, or I stole it, because that's the easiest way to do things. I don't want to ruin my DS just so I can capture footage. And even if you get, like, a DS emulator, like, you still have to fill half the screen with the text box.
Yeah.
And it's weird to put on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It never really works.
It's terrible for filming. But I do think it had a fuckload of great games, but they're on the DS, and it pisses me off that they're not all on the Wii U. Like, if I were the president of Nintendo, I would have said, hey, we just made a console with 2 screens, and one's a touch screen. Let's make the entire library of the DS available on it. And it would be worth owning a Wii U just for that. Just to have all the DS games available. Because that's the biggest fucking library of great games of the last 10 years. Ugh.
I would buy that, even if it was like $200.
Yeah. Well, it's more than 200. It's probably 300. But, it's worth it.
Yeah.
I bought a PS4 and there were no games for it. And yet, I managed to buy a bunch of games. So...
I bought a PS4. I bought a Bloodborne machine, too.
Yeah, I think I talked you into it, right? Like, I goaded you and Jesse.
I think I just wanted to play Bloodborne in general.
Right.
But yeah.
Have you used it for anything other than
Bloodborne? The one reason that I actually went over and bought thing other than Bloodborne is that I learned that Dark Cloud was coming onto it as an HD. And I bought the HD Dark Cloud, and it's great! I love it. The only thing that's wrong with that port or version of Dark Cloud is that the main theme that plays, for some reason, I don't know how they fucked it up, but there's like one drum in the beat. I guess it's like a MIDI track or something. But there's one drum that's just out of time with the rest of the thing, and it keeps getting faster and slow, and it's like, no, guy, you're ruining the song. It's supposed to be the cool bit, because like it plays at the title screen. But then later, like in the last boss, where you're in the Sun Giant and you're fighting the Dark Genie in space, and it plays and it's just fucking awful, and I cried.
Oh, that's a sad story.
But yeah, it's aside from that, you should buy a PS4 for Dark Cloud.
Yes.
That's the only
I have
reason to
it
get
on
it.
my PS4. I have not played more than 45 minutes for that one Let's Play when I was sick. That's it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm determined to beat it before I buy Dark Cloud 2, because that's also on there.
Yeah, I don't know whether you should play the whole of Dark Cloud before Dark Cloud 2. I mean, I love it, but I know that the sequel is more streamlined and a better game in general, and it has very little, if anything, to do with the first in terms of story.
Right.
And a lot of people played the sequel first. So, I don't blame people for liking that one over the original, but I still like the original a lot.
Well, I want to play the original anyways, just because it's a classic action RPG, and that's kind of my thing,
Yeah.
is that whole genre. And it's interesting, if nothing else. I didn't even, I'd played it as a kid, but never gotten very far in it. And then, your video, when you're like, oh, there's, 5 different characters you get to play as. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even know there were other characters you got at all. That was a great video, incidentally. I've said this before.
Yeah, I like that video.
I've said this before to you, but your videos have the highest rate of making me want to play the games immediately. I actually went out, I spent a while trying to track down Dark Cloud for the PS2, because I had seen it one time at a local game store, and then, as soon as your video came out, I went back and tried to find it, and they didn't have it, and then I would just, hunt for it at game stores, because I didn't want to buy it online, because, and then once it hit the PS4, I was like, oh yeah, immediately, buy that. And I also bought Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, because of your video, immediately, and then never played it for more than 30 minutes.
I'm good at making people spend their money, but not by having fun.
Well, and I also really wanted to play Jak and Daxter after your video, but I remember that the exact reason I didn't, and this is probably true of all of them, but it was because it's always been hard for me to justify playing a game if I'm not going to make a video about it, and you had already just made a video about it. So, that's always the catch-22 with video game videos, is it's oh, cool, that analysis really made me want to play that game, but now I can't make an analysis of the game because it already exists, so I can't play the game.
I totally know how you feel about not feeling right playing a game when I'm not going to make a video about it, because that's the whole reason I started the Let's Plays, aside from the fact that I thought Let's Plays might be fun, and I could maybe get better at talking through them. I just wanted to play these old games. I played Rayman 2,
right,
which was great, and I actually beat it for the first time in the Let's Play. But I would have never played it again, even though I owned it on through digital download or whatever. I would have never played it if I didn't have a video planned for it. So that was why I did all those Let's Plays, and then I got bored. And now I'm doing GRPJ, which is my excuse to play games. Really long games and not have to record any of the things in them, so it's more fun.
Good reason to play a JRPG.
It is a very good reason to play JRPG.
Yeah, that's for me when me and Victor started DigiBros. The biggest problem I've had with it the whole time is that Victor will only do it if he gets to play the games. So I would love to be able to finally play all these video games and make Let's Plays out of them, make that my excuse, but I can't do it because Victor won't watch me play video games. So, it never happens. But I have tried to do that myself. I really wanted to just play a game, and I'm like, okay, we're just going to turn on a recording. In Dark Souls 3, I was convinced I would write something about it, and I never did. But I'm finally getting over it. Maybe you can too. With Doom, that was the moment I finally just played a game because I liked it with no intentions of writing about it. And it was a really good time.
Well, yeah, I've been playing Twilight Princess today because I got a TV and that's cool. And I have no intention of ever making a video about that unless, I really feel like it. But, Zelda games are so well documented, it's kind of pointless.
What console are you playing it on?
On the Wii.
The Wii?
I got the game.
The Wii you like to play.
Yeah, I would, thank you. I would let you into my house.
I hate the Wii.
You hate it?
Yeah. How do you feel about the Wii?
I actually... because the PlayStation 3 annoyed me and I never cared for the Xbox, the Wii was my favorite of that generation, purely by, being the other one. And I did kind of like Wii Fit, because it actually made me jog on the spot, which I never did, and have never done since, because I stopped playing that game.
Not that you need to lose weight or anything, since you're,
No,
90
but
pounds.
I don't exercise at all. I'm very small. I don't eat food. I mean, I do, but I don't go out of my way to go get something.
Yeah.
I just eat what's put in front of my plate. Or on my plate, rather.
So, you've covered mostly on your channel, like, your favorite games, right?
Yeah.
Like, you sort of make a point to, like, highlight games that you really loved from your childhood, or that still hold up today.
Yeah. I kind of don't like the whole, fuck all this shitty games, am I right? Because, I mean, it's funny to be mad at something, but it's more interesting when you're mad at something that fucking tore your soul apart.
Right.
Like the Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts video. Like, I don't have something of that equivalent. Well, maybe I do. I don't know. I'll figure it out if I do. But
I mean, if Dark Souls 2 wasn't so well covered, that would probably be a good candidate.
Yeah, that would. But I like just making videos about stuff that I like, with the intent that I can tell people about it. Because with all those other sort of games that people talk about, like Zelda, I know that those are massively popular and everybody. Oh, is it not recording? Am I not recording?
Yeah,
What's
you're
going
here.
on?
I had to kick Nate out because he
Okay.
made your internet so bad that I couldn't hear you anymore.
Okay, what was I saying? I wanted to make videos about good games because other games like Zelda, they get massive coverage and I know loads of people love them. I don't need to make a video about why Zelda is good. But I do feel like I need to make a video about why Ratchet & Clank is good because I don't hear as many people talk about Ratchet & Clank. Or, some more obscure games like the Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright, which I heard nobody talk about ever. And it's fucking brilliant, and it's all these cool things I want to talk about. Okami. People haven't made a really good Okami video. I'm sure there is
shocking,
one or two.
Well, I've always thought that was fucking weird, because, like, I loved Ratchet & Clank back in the day, and even back then, like, I've always known that the games sell really well. Obviously, they keep making more of them. They've always been considered, like, a mascot for Sony. And they get really well critically reviewed. 2 and 3 were both, like, especially 3 was, like, hugely well reviewed. I would see them on...
3's great.
I'd see them on TV. They had, like, mainstream advertising. And, like, if you go into, like, a character poll or a best game ever poll, then, like, they usually do okay. But yet, no one talks about them. And I've never understood it.
Yeah.
Like, I've never known anybody in person who knew Ratchet & Clank until, like, some of my friends that I met, like, later on. And, like, they get no critical analysis. Nobody ever talks about them when they're talking about their favorite games. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why does no one talk about these games that are great? And then you finally came along.
I think it just feels like the market of video game reviews is dominated by early Nintendo fags.
Yeah.
They just like all those early games. They were there before, and they were big and good and stuff.
It's like everything is either...
Nobody cares about the new stuff.
I think the reason that era gets glossed over is that, like, everyone wants to talk about new stuff because it's relevant to everybody. And then people like to talk about, like, the first classics because... they set a lot of the rules of what stuff came after, and then also I think they're just easier to talk about. Like, it's pretty simple to blast through a 30-minute NES game and deconstruct what makes it great. Whereas, like, I think the PS2 is right in that era where it wasn't, like, new ideas, it was just perfecting ideas, But, I mean, I guess we have, like, Devil May Cry games, for some reason, get, like, really well covered by everybody. So it's not like all PS2 games go by the wayside that way.
Yeah, I think it's mostly the goofy platformer things, because I feel like a lot of people see Ratchet & Clank and Jak and Daxter and they think, Banjo-Kazooie is better,
Which
they
is
did the mascot
not true.
animal thing first.
Not at all true.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I haven't played all of Banjo-Kazooie, but
Banjo-Kazooie has the clunkiest fucking controls and the worst live system ever. I don't think it's a bad game, but that game does not hold up with the ease that, like, Ratchet & Clank 2 holds up. Like, you could still play Ratchet & Clank 2 or 3 today, and you'd still have a good time. Banjo-Kazooie has a lot of antiquated things that, like...
I can't help it, scream to make I'm sorry, Mama.
It's a nightmare.
Ooh.
What? Hippo?
Don't mean to make you cry.
You popping in and out?
Sometimes
Fading.
I wish I'd never
You sound like a
been
ghost in
born
the
at
shell.
all. Carry on, carry
I just hear
on.
every
It doesn't
every so many
even
seconds I hear.
matter.
"Ah, boo."
I forgot the next lyric. Whew. Am I
Oh,
a
no.
scrub or what? Hey everyone, welcome to
Hippo,
the
come
No
back.
podcast with me.
Oh, what?
Oh, you came
Oh,
back.
you're there.
That whole last minute or so you've been cut out and I've been singing.
Yeah, all I heard was just you going like boo, da, boo, like every once in a while. It's like, oh god, he's a ghost.
Yeah, what were you saying?
I don't even know.
Well, I'll just let that be a clusterfuck for the people to listen to.
Yeah, I'll probably edit some of that out.
I know you won't because it's like an hour in and you won't find it.
I edited the one I did with Jesse to remove a bunch of fuck ups like that, so I'll
Okay
do it.
then.
So are there any games that you definitely want to cover on your show that you haven't yet?
I have a list. I can't find it at the moment, but I know I want to do Okami. I want to do the other Ratchet and Clank games. I want to do the other Jack and Daxter games. I want to do what else do I want to do? There's lots. Wait, I can look at my. I can't look at my thing. My shelf. My shelf is blocked by a cupboard, and if I move it, it'll be loud. Here we go. Though I'm just gonna move my cupboard. Here we go.
It wasn't that loud.
It wasn't that loud. You know what? I can't see them because they're behind other games. But forget it. I have a list. I have a list of cool games to talk about. It's not just the action platformer mascot things. It's cool games from the PS2 era. All the RPGs, all of them, every single one. I'm gonna do all the JRPGs, and I'm gonna play all the cool games.
So
Ape Escape. That was a one. Ape Escape 2. That was we were gonna do a thing with Jesse, weren't we?
oh yeah, because Jesse loves Ape Escape, and you love Ape Escape too, and then you found out.
Well, I love all the Ape Escapes.
Right, but like
yeah.
one of the Ape Escapes had like a girl protagonist, and you were like, Digi, you can do that one, and we can all cover Ape Escape. That is a great idea. I totally forgot about that.
You're
Ooh.
cutting out, sir.
But yeah, are you still there?
I'm gonna have to pull a plug.
Hippo?
He's a goner.
Oh
Wait,
no.
I'm the guy with the plug. See, this is the thing. My internet's terrible, okay? Don't worry about it. It's just terrible, and I can't speak, and I can't talk, and you can't hear him, and I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean for this to happen. Technical difficulties. Hello?
Hello?
Is there anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. Well, if you nod, I can't see anything, really, so don't nod. Make a sound if you can hear me.
Hello?
Oh, well, I was back for a sec.
Hey! Hey!
Hello?
All I've been
Hey.
hearing is every couple of minutes.
Oh, this is a train. But it's not wrecked yet. We've got it still on the rails.
It's a crazy train. It's going off the rails. How much of what I was
just
saying
gone
did
again.
you
It's
hear?
just immediately it's gone. See, this is what I have to deal with, ladies and gents. You're looking at me for internet advice. Don't. It's bad. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what I'm doing. Goodness gracious.
Are you back?
I'm back.
Is someone doing something on your computer right now, on one of them or something? Is it making it worse?
No, I just have terrible internet. I could ask my brothers to turn their computers off.
I don't know if it'll help. If they're not actually doing anything on them.
They might be.
I was describing the Ape Escape thing when you cut out. And I think it's a good idea that we should still do at some point.
Yes.
Oh god, I don't remember my follow-up question. Oh, GRPJ. How'd it happen?
Yeah. Well, I like RPGs, and there are tons of RPGs I haven't played, and I wanted to, it's like before with the Let's Plays. It's an excuse to play a whole one of them so I can make a video about it. But I didn't want to record the whole RPG, because I know from Spoonie's videos, he's made reviews of Final Fantasy VII and stuff, and Final Fantasy VIII, I mean, and they take up huge amounts of hard drive space recording, and then you have to look through it, and that idea is terrible. I don't like that idea. So I just thought I would steal footage from YouTube and then talk about it on camera in a sort of unscripted but kind of scripted way. And that's why they exist.
Do they actually...
It's an excuse.
Do they actually take, like, way less effort than a normal video? Because they end up being long as fuck, and you usually do put in relevant footage. So...
They're pretty intensive, but compared to like making a full review of an entire RPG, there's not even close to the amount of effort I would have had to put in. So it's preferable, definitely. I like putting in relevant footage just so people get if there's like a cutscene I'm talking about, you can see it. Because one thing I hate is when it's when somebody's like talking about something and the thing that's on screen is just the clip that's been playing for the last 5 minutes, and it's actually got nothing to do with what they're saying, and I can't visualize what they're talking about because they're not showing it.
Right.
But they did show it like 10 minutes ago, and I'm like, well, I can't go back. Can you just show it now? I just hate that sort of stuff.
With your last GRPJ, Victor was watching it, and he was complaining because you had the laptop right in the middle of the screen, and he was like, I can't ever tell what the fuck's happening in the cutscenes because Gibbon's laptop's in the way. And I was like, well, I don't know if you're really supposed to pay attention to what's on screen. And he was like, then why did he edit it to be all relevant footage?
That is the one thing that I'm stupid about. I don't know, man. I thought of doing a weird green screen thing as the first thing, and now that's going to be the thing. I'm going to have a weird green screen. Partially because I don't want to get copyrighted just in case, right. And also because it's hilarious. But I guess I could just let things... I can't help it, though. I see the editing thing, and I'm like, well, now I've got to talk... I'm talking about this. I'll just show some footage of whatever.
Yeah.
And now I'm talking about a specific thing. Oh, I gotta get that scene. I mean, I gotta get it.
I don't think it would be a
people
problem.
Who know the game, they'll know
if
it.
Not for the giant laptop sitting in front of the screen.
I'll try and figure out a way to make it better for the next one, I guess.
Yeah. I enjoyed those, though. I hadn't actually watched the Final Fantasy VII one when it came out, and then after the Kingdom Hearts one, I went back and watched the Final Fantasy VII one. Because the FF7 one came out at a time before I just watched every random long-ass video. And I was like, well, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII, so I'm not going to understand or care about any of this. And then I went back and I was like, oh, this is actually good. You actually edited this video.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to...
It's disguised as a ramble, but it isn't really.
I want to copy the format myself. Like... actually, really, that might have been the direct inspiration for the laying around videos that I've been doing this month, where it's like laying around watching Nanwan Biori until I like it, where I'll watch an episode of the show and then just turn on the camera and ramble at it, because I like this idea of like covering the entire thing, like just every random thought you had about it through playing, and then just throwing that all out there, and like it's not something that's like super reshareable and revisitable the way that like a main video is, but if people just want to hear someone talk about Kingdom Hearts, then that could be interesting, which like I thought it was interesting, and I haven't played that game in fucking 11 years, so.
Yeah, a lot of people found it interesting. I've been getting like a lot of comments from people who are clearly not subscribed. They just found it. I guess it's been shared among Kingdom Hearts fans, and right. People are agreeing with my points, even though they still think it's a good game despite its flaws. And I don't know, it's nice. It's nice that something like this conversational sort of like just talking about a thing, not really with a big point, can still get across to a lot of people, and they can enjoy it.
And I mean, what I came to realize over time is that like the amount of effort you put into your video has nothing to do with how many people will watch it or how much they'll care about it. It's what the subject matter is. Like, I'm sure that the Kingdom Hearts video probably has as many views as most of the other videos on your channel, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, even though it's a lower effort in terms of like, you know, being a big, cool comedy thing, you know, I don't imagine people would like patron you as much for those kind of videos, but people will still watch it and enjoy it and get something out of it. And that's why I've sort of turned to doing like a lot of these 45-minute long vlogs about anime, where it's like people just want to hear me talk about anime. It doesn't really matter if I have something interesting like or like profound to say. It's just, hey, what did you think of that show? Well, let me tell you everything I thought of that show. So yeah,
Yeah.
GRPJ is pretty cool. I'm copying it wholesale for myself. And I'd love it as a GRPJ for myself, because I need a good reason to play these fucking JRPGs.
You could steal the formula if you credit me at the beginning of everything.
Oh, I certainly
every
would.
GRPG.
I don't know if I'd steal your categories or anything. I would probably just fucking unscripted rant about them or something. But I would love a GRPJ. I'm jealous of the fact that you found a GRPJ. Because, like, in the mid-2000s, I was obsessed with JRPGs, and I never beat any of them. Actually, I think I made a pact with myself that I would finish Persona 3 before the year was over. I have...
Which year?
This year. Like, I've been putting it off for 10 years, and I think I said, oh, you know what it was? It was that I have to try to beat Persona 3 and 4 before Persona 5 comes out, I think, was my deal, which is like this October, probably. Good luck. Alright, Hippo. Do you have anything to say about video games other than what I've been asking you for this interview?
I like shitty graphics. I like low resolution things. The really big pixelated textures, like PS1 sort of stuff. It's really, really cool. I like the aesthetic more than I like actually good-looking, realistic stuff.
You know, those PS1 games, what bothers me the most is the wobbly thing, where like...
I love the wobbly thing.
It makes me feel dizzy and sick. Like, I tried to play
it's like when you...
like Vagrant Story. You should put that on your GRPJ list, because that's a great JRPG with, like, supposed to have, like, one of the deepest stories in an RPG, but, like, it's got that wobbly effect to, like, such an extreme that it's, like, it really makes me want to die. Even though the aesthetic of the game is great, other than that.
I don't know. I think that I just love... I don't know what it is about the wobbly thing. It's just like you turn the camera and it moves a little, and you can see like things popping in and out of being like correct and wrong. Yeah. I don't know. Something about this just really...
It's like a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. It's just cool.
Well, I guess for me it's weird because I didn't grow up with it, because I had an N64 which did not have. Yeah,
it's weird. I guess it's the same generation, so it's not really an upgrade, but N64 looks much better in general.
Yeah, well, it was the problem with the N64 was that it had better graphical power, but it had less space because they kept cartridges, and discs could hold more and you could have more of them. So, you know, Final Fantasy VII would never have fit onto an N64 cartridge because it was 4 fucking discs or 3 fucking discs. You know, so like that's why there were no RPGs on the N64 except for Quest 64, which everyone thinks is fucking garbage. But otherwise, there was not a single RPG because they were too fucking big.
Yeah.
Oh, Nintendo and their fucking weird decisions, man. They never seem to... Like, ever since the N64, I feel like they never have the developer's best interest in mind when they make their systems.
I don't know. I think the Wii U is pretty good, but I don't think people were on board for developing for it because of the Wii. Like, they thought it was just another gimmick thing.
Well... I mean, the Wii U obviously has much higher graphical capabilities and stuff, but it still can't do, like, you couldn't run, like, a Uncharted on there or something, you know? I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of, like, games that would have been cross-platform to the Wii U, but can't be. But I don't know. I don't know to what extent that goes. Hippo, how about you tell me some stuff about your life, your history,
my history,
your backstory. Where does Hippo come from? You live in London. You're
Well,
not even in the United States.
That's true. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether people could tell that I'm English from my accent, but I am.
I would hope so.
I've had a lot of people over the years, I guess it is now, years, be surprised when they learn that I'm English instead of like a weird Australian something or other.
That's because most people hear Australians and think they're fucking British.
That is true. Also,
no one can apparently tell the difference.
But yeah,
and I think it's that a lot of people think like Yahtzee is Australian because he lives in Australia, and so like people get those accents confused.
And people think Anthony C is no wait.
Anthony C is
he's British.
He's
but he
British
lives,
Australian.
Yeah, that's the combo. No, I live in England, London place, and that's about that. I don't know what to say about my backstory. I went to school. I didn't like it. I wanted to be on the school podcast, but I think I was either asleep or the internet didn't work.
Yeah.
But those school things, did a lot of art. I liked art until they kicked me out for drawing. Not drawing, but like writing. I want to kill everybody in my art book. That was the story I wanted to bring onto the school podcast. Is that I got kicked out of school.
Go ahead and tell it here.
Okay. Well, one day, I was an angry, depressed teenager boy, and I wrote in my art book, "Fucking, I hate everybody, kill, die, murder," or whatever. I forget exactly what I said. And I was feeling a bit nervous about it because I knew they would see it, but I kind of wanted them to see it and read it and be like, "Oh my goodness." And they did, but they did more than I thought they would, and they banned me from school. They said, "You can't come in." And the reason, which was hilarious to me and my parents, was that I'm a danger to myself and fellow classmates because they thought I was either suicidal or homicidal from those few words I wrote in my art book. So I just came into the school the next day. They didn't even phone me or anything. They just said, "Excuse me, you're not allowed in. You have to go home." And I said, "Well, I can't. My mum dropped me off." It's like, "Well, we'll call your mum." And then, so I just had to sit there being like, "What the fuck?" And then they sent me away from home, and they said they needed a written doctor's note saying that I was sane or whatever.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It was the most overreaction thing that I've ever experienced at school, and I just fucking... It made me angry. It made me more angry and more, liable to actually attack people than if they had just, given me detention or something. Because it was so presumptive. I don't know. That's my school story. It doesn't work. Although I did have a lot of fun at doing art in school. I made I did fine art in GCSE, which is good. I made a lot of sculptures and paintings, and I made a man out of tape, and he lived in a giant tube out of tape, like black gaffer tape, and it was all shiny and black, and he was shiny and black. And then the man was made out of a suit of tape that I made that I could wear, and I can still wear because I'm really small. And it's really weird. But yeah, art's cool. And then I went on to college to do a foundation degree because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was kind of feeling interested in animation, but I didn't feel ready for it, so I did a foundation year in college. And that was fun. I met a few friends that I now don't talk to, but whatever. And then I went to... Oh, you going to say something?
No, you can continue.
And then I went to a uni, and I did my 3-year animation degree, and I met friends that are really cool, and I'm keeping in touch with them, which is cool. We played D&D we played one session of D&D, and I got an animation degree, and that's my school career, I guess. My school journey.
Yeah. You kind of left unresolved. After you got expelled from that school, did you get back in, or what?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was just like I was out for a couple of weeks or maybe a month or something. And we asked the doctor and they said, we need a fucking note to say that I'm sane. And they're like, what? Like, the doctor was like, what the fuck? So she just wrote a note and she said, just let him in. Like, he wrote a little thing in his art book. Who cares? And then the school's like, okay. And I felt like the reason... No, it was the reason. The reason they sent me home was not so much because they were afraid of me attacking students, but they didn't want to be responsible for me attacking anybody. So, like, if I attacked somebody at school, they didn't want to be seen as the reason. So, like, if I was going to kill myself, they wanted it to be at home, so that they didn't get in trouble, which was fucking really... I hate them. I hate them all. School sucks. But...
I gotta say, that's the first time I've ever felt lucky about my story, that it didn't get to that point. You heard mine, right, in the school podcast?
I think I haven't listened to it yet, but I might have heard it before, but I'll listen to it soon.
Yeah. So, how did that month treat you? I mean, it sounds like it was awesome. You gotta not go to school for like a month.
Well, it was kind of awesome, but at the same time, I think it wasn't GCSE. I think it was in A-level. So in A-level, you choose 3 subjects, and I chose art, and photography, I think, and physics, but I dropped physics. So it was basically fun times all the times, because I liked art, and I liked the art department, and I liked sitting in the art department doing whatever I was doing and not going and talking to anyone. So staying at home was not actually that fun, because the only things I could do was play games, and the only game I had at the time that I was trying to be good at playing was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, because all the people at school were playing it, and I felt like I needed to be into a game that everybody was into in order to be popular, which was what I was trying to do, but I was playing that so much, and I got so angry at it that I nearly broke it. I nearly broke my controller and everything. So I hate Call of Duty.
Jesus.
It wasn't a good time. I felt really sad.
Yeah. So, what does the future hold for the Hippo Man if everything goes according to plan?
The future? Well, I want to make a bunch of videos by the end of the year. And then after that, well, I'm going to RadCon, your house, the Rad conference.
Yes.
And that is somewhat of a test out, a tryout for potentially me living either with you or near you in the future to be able to do more collaborative things with the rest of the PC, the TCP members. And
yeah, that's essentially the purpose of RadCon is.
Yeah, so
let's do things together and see what we can do together and see if, like, logistically how we could possibly all live together in the future.
Yeah, so after that,
which
I
you're the hardest one to move in though, because you're in another country and currently no income.
Yeah, not really. I mean, a Patreon is tiny. It's like $50, $60 a month, which is not good enough, guys. Come on, give me some more. That's my Patreon plug. There it is. That's all I gotta say about it. But I want to be making videos so that after RadCon, if I've decided that I want to go to America and it's like seems like a good idea possible to do, I will try to make as many videos that will get me Patreon money and AdSense money and grow and big channel, big money, get big money, and I want to get big money so that I can move out safely. I don't want to go to America and then die in the streets, because that's probably what would happen if I went now. Probably because of the plane ticket alone to get there, and then, buying a house. I mean, I don't know, renting an apartment. It would feel weird, and also I'd had to get like a visa or a change the nationality. I don't know how any of that stuff works. It's a scary idea to go and live in America forever. So I want to make sure I'm getting a decent income, because it doesn't matter where I do my YouTube videos. It just matters that I do YouTube videos and I can make money.
Well,
so
that's
it doesn't
kind of
matter
the
where
whole...
I live.
the whole basis of us all moving in together is like that that it doesn't matter where you do YouTube from. So like all of us, like the only people who like absolutely we know can't just pick up and leave are you, because you can't leave England that easily and you don't have any income, and then Nate because he has a real job. And for anyone else it's like the sky's the limit. Like, it doesn't matter where we are. You can do YouTube from anywhere as long as you have a decent internet connection, which is why Devu particularly wants to get out of where he is to get a better internet connection. And Jesse, we don't know about because he takes care of his family and everything. But, like, yeah, that's pretty much the idea is, hey, if we can do it from anywhere, why not do it from right next to each other where we could do way more shit?
Yeah,
it just seems like a good idea.
It'll be really cool, especially having Victor do all our skits.
Yeah, if he's still around, which who knows. I mean, I haven't seen that motherfucker in like a month because he's been constantly working. I actually saw him for a brief glimpse like 2 days ago. He came in and he was all like, "I'm going to Hope's house," and then left. That was it. That was all I saw of him all week. I'm not even joking. That's exactly what he did. Oh god.
He's got that a bastard. Lot of hope in the future.
So you actually you're closer to Devu on the scale of watching all the shit I make. At least you watch all the Digibros, yeah?
Yeah, I watch all the Digibros. I watch the Digibro. I watch as much as I can. I haven't been watching your After Dark vlogs recently because my internet's been so poor. I have to really pick and choose which videos I let buffer all day.
Right.
So I haven't been watching those.
What the fuck is the deal with your internet right now? What is this nightmare that you've been living in?
Alright, hopefully by the time this podcast comes up, it will be sorted, although I don't know how long you're going to take to make it. To put it up, but
next Tuesday, so 6 days from now.
Alright, it probably won't be sorted by then, but the idea is we had an internet service provider and they went bust, and then we got shoved into this other one which was like it consumed it. I don't really know the specifics, I just heard this from my parents, that they had an internet service provider and it died, and then we have been swept away into this other one which is absolute garbage, and it's very difficult to get out because of a weird thing with my dad's company who pays the phone bill, and it's confusing and I don't get it. And all it means is that the internet is absolutely abysmal so long as there are more than 2 people using a computer at once in the house, and there usually is. So
that all sounds like it should be illegal.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm sad. I made I made a single rage tweet on Twitter about it, and a guy said, "Oh, if your internet's so bad, how come you're on Twitter, you idiot?" or whatever. He used those arrows, the 4chan arrows, you know?
Twitter is like the easiest fucking site to load in the universe. It doesn't take a huge load on your internet. Fuck that guy. I hope you're listening. Fuck you, guy.
I mean, I don't really hate him. It's just in the moment, it's like, and after I responded to him, I said, fucking, I explained that I didn't say all of my internet. I said some of my internet. Fuck you, die. And then he replied with salt, and then I blocked him because fuck that guy.
That's a very good reaction.
It's
anyone
who
uses the word salt deserves to be blocked.
Salt and pepper. Salt. It's pepper's okay. Say pepper instead. Say paprika. Oh, anything.
Let's go through some words I know you hate. Salt, cringe.
I like cringe.
Get good. Oh, you actually enjoy cringe though.
I enjoy cringe. It's fun. It's hilarious.
I know you have a problem with people who try to be dismissive by kind of like acting cool, like your opinion doesn't matter because I'm cooler. You need to get good and stuff like that.
Oh, get good. Yeah, well, that's the specific term. Get good is annoying because it exemplifies that. I guess I just don't like people assuming much of me based on the small things that I say. And when they look down on me, I'm like, who the hell are you bitch. Don't
Right.
you get angry ever? Did I cut
You were
out?
cut out through half
Yeah.
of that sentence, but it's okay because you said the whole thing and it'll be on the recording.
Yep.
How do you spend your time on the internet? How would you say it's divided between?
Well, a lot of it is YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I am just either watching a YouTube video.
You cut out.
Like, it's very rare that I have no YouTube videos ready to watch. There's usually... I watch Kriparian, which is a Hearthstone YouTuber, and he makes 2 videos a day, and they're always interesting to watch, because Hearthstone is just fun to watch for me. And then there's all the stuff the TPC members do, and I've cut out all of my podcasts. The only podcasts I listen to is the Procrastinators podcast if I wasn't on it, and I think the Sleepycast. Yeah, those are the only 2 podcasts I listen to. I used to listen to a bunch more. I made a whole ramble about it on my Give and Take channel about how I need to cut out all this stuff because YouTube is taking up so much of my time in general. I just needed to stop it. Aside from YouTube, I usually check Twitter a lot, and I check Tumblr somewhat, but not really that much anymore, because it's generally just kind of... It's not really a thing you go back to check an update, because none of the notifications I get or asks I get are interesting. I actually don't get asks anymore. So Twitter is my main sort of let's see what's happening thing, and then other than that it's YouTube, and I don't think anything else. I don't like streams at all. Whatever.
Well, you were cut out for me for like the last 2 minutes, and it
Well,
sounds
I
like you just
explained
kept
what
talking.
what
So
I
that's
do on the
great.
internet. That was it. Did I cut out again?
Oh, you
or
gone
did
again?
You cut out? Jesus
Oh,
Christ!
damn it!
Hey, Darkness, my old friend, come in, have a cup of tea. You don't like tea? You like coffee? Black, sure. You are? Darkness, my old friend. Hey, how's the thing? How's your wife? She's dead? Good. I don't care for her either. We're halfway there. Living on a prayer. Take my hand and make it elsewhere. Living on a prayer. Is it? No. You made a little noise. You made a little it, and that's it. Oh, that's all I could hear. Oh dear.
I can't wait to hear the entire secret other podcast you've been doing with yourself. Like all these times that you've cut out.
It's gonna be interesting.
Are you actually here this time?
Yeah. Oh. Ooh.
Hippo.
Ooh,
Hippo.
as soon as you say something.
Hippo!
Ooh, you're gone again. You're fucking gone. You're dead. I'm dead. We're dead. This is the Death Podcast. Hey, you know what? I like murder. I like murdering internet service providers there. That's fun. You go to their house, they say, "Excuse me, who are you?" And I just stab you in the brain. Ooh, in the brain. Right there. I bypass the skin. I bypass the skull. I stab you directly in the brain with my brain knife. It cuts only your brain. I made it especially for you. You sick fuck. Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to this podcast? I mean, it's probably interesting, probably hilarious, seeing both of us flounder. Okay, you're back. Are you back, though? Okay, you are back. You are actually back. We are actually back.
For another all too brief period. Let's see how long that lasts. It's already over, isn't it? Are you gone?
Oh.
It's already over.
All
It's
too
already
brief.
over.
It's
It's
right.
already over. It's already over. Hippo!
Oh.
Hippo! Come back to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand the implications of this? I forgot the rest of that. Oh, Aaron Hansen. You don't even try, dude. Don't even try. This is the two-way podcast. We've split the streams. We're on 2 different universes now. Both of us sailing along on the Milky Whale. Individual. all individually, and that's the way the cookie rumbles. That's the way it's meant to be. That's the way it ought to stay. You know what? Wait right there, everyone. Here we go. Let's start with a good old, this. Blackbeard. Oh, fuck, I did it wrong. Let's do it again. Blackbeard singing in the dead of night. Breathe these broken wings and learn to climb all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. I hate it. I hate it. It sucks. Internet. Here's a solo. Bada bing. Are we here? You spoke too soon, you fool! Oh, you fool! You spoke too soon! Fuck this shit, I'm dead. I'm not very good at improv guitars, but here's one from the ages. Oh no, we're not here. You're silly, Digi. You think it's okay. It's not. You're gay. We're in the thing. The thing that which I can't think of the word. You know what? It's like the limbo. That'll work. Limbo. We're in the limbo. The limbo of the wimbo. On the window of the windowsill. It's bad here. I don't like it very much. It's got grime on the side. It's a bad game. It's not a game. I'm not talking about a game. Oh, here's another classic. You know, I'm not actually very good at that. Let's clack the knuckles. Alright. I can't... Alright, I can. That's the way you look at the world. I can. That's out of tune. That's why it sounds bad. It's not me. Let's do a whole fucking... I'm tuning my fucking guitar while Digi is like, oh, I wish the podcast was working. But you know what? Maybe he'll cut his own bit out and this'll just be me. Me and you. You like TPC? I like it. I don't listen to it, because I'm usually there. But when I'm not there, I try to listen to it. It's fun. It's nice. I like being these guys' friends. They're all my best friends. They're all the best times. I love you all. I Oh, I'm burping. Alright. You all know the words to this one. I don't. I could finish the song, but I messed up. I'm sorry. Oh, you heard it! Oh, he heard it. He heard some of it. He was trying to sing along. I should finish it for him. Skip to the bit, skip to the other bit.
So, Hippo, give me a state of the Hippo address. How do you feel about how your life is going right now?
The address? State? I feel my life is okay. I feel my life is actually pretty great. I mean, I'm at home with my parents, but my parents are cool, so that's not an issue. They love me and I love them. I've got a room. The construction at my house is finished. They've got an extension, so now the house is really cool and new, and I have a new room, and I have a new TV because it's my birthday, and everything's looking up, really. All I've got now is to focus on my career, my money making, and really that's going well as well. I mean, actually, I can't complain. Nothing aside from the internet, but that'll be fixed within a month, probably. So. My life's great. How is yours?
What kind of frequency can we expect new hippocrit videos with?
I'm trying to get them out 2 a month, like one every 2 weeks.
That would be beautiful. That
It
would be
would
a
be.
reality I want to live in.
Yeah, I've got a video. I've got the follow up to the mini clip games video coming, but I don't know whether I'm already too late for that to become 2 weeks later. Probably.
I don't think so.
I think either it's this week or next week. Well, obviously it's this week or next week, but it might be this week.
I mean, the upload time alone might make it come out a week later.
That's true. I actually don't think the upload is that bad. It's just staying connected. Like the connection is just wobbly, and it's like okay, and then it's suddenly gone completely, and then it's okay, and then it's gone completely. I mean, as you could just hear, it was like that just then.
So I don't know how much you can say about this, but there's also some contract work you've been doing, yeah?
Yeah, I don't think it's like it's secret, but I've written a pilot for a not necessarily ever going to be made TV show for teenagers, a animation cartoon, because a person came to me and said, I think your animations are funny, would you like to help us write a comedy script? And I did. I went and talked to them. I helped design the characters and the idea of the show, and I helped write the pilot. I did write the pilot, the script, and I sent that in, and now they're using that in their animation studio to pitch to a bunch of different studios, channels, that is, to get them greenlit and stuff. That's all that's going on with that. So I don't know whether that will become anything, but I'm sure I'll work with them in the future. So that's cool.
I had been under the impression it was a children's show you guys were making.
It was like a prepubescent children's, sort of like 13, 12 sort of, because it's like it's for kids, but it's kind of dark because it's about death. It's a train. It's a train of ghosts. Well, it's not really a train of ghosts. It started off as a train of ghosts, and it was going to be like Spirited Away. That's the idea that I had in my head of what it would look like, but like a show set on a train, filled with mythical beasts and creatures and witches and cool things like that. Creatures of like Greek myths and stuff, and Death, the Grim Reaper himself, would be a character, and he would be cool. He would be all reserved and read the newspaper and stuff. Just sit in the corner and not talk to anybody. Be really shy. That was the thing with Death. He's really shy. He doesn't like talking to people because he kills them eventually. So he's just sort of like, oh no, that's fine. I'll just sit here. But yeah, the point of the show is there's a little girl and she's an orphan, and the orphanage is horrible and evil and despicable, and the person there is evil, and she runs away and she finds a magic train she jumps on, and before she thinks about where the train would be going, and it turns out it's a ghost train with ghosts, and it's cool. And she has adventures on the train. I think in the scripts that I wrote, she meets the Spider Girl, which is basically Muffet, but a little girl Muffet from Undertale, which is adorable to me, especially the character design they based off of that. I don't know whether I can show anybody the character designs, but I don't think there's much point to it, seeing as the show may never be made. But
right,
it's cool.
And specifically, the person who brought you on to do this was Anna Esther Veloz, right? I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, but
yeah, I don't know what either. But Anna Esther Veloz, she's great. She's cool. You're cool. You might be listening to this.
She's the longest time and highest paying patron of like a lot of the PCP.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive.
She was my biggest patron for a very, very long time. But she also has her own YouTube channel called Anna Stays at Home, where she did a couple of really short anime analysis, one for Eva and one for Utena, specifically like the ending of Utena, like the last episode, and a part of End of Eva as well, and then like
which
this
one had
long ass rambly vlog about Dragon Age.
Which one had the Madagascar comparison?
That's the Eva one. Yeah.
Yeah. I always think of that one as the Madagascar one.
Yeah, it's
It's
pretty
just
interesting.
such a cool comparison to make.
Yeah, such a out I never would have imagined someone using Madagascar to analyze Ava. I feel like there's not a lot of crossover in people who have even seen both of those. I certainly haven't seen Madagascar.
Oh, it's a good show. I think Nate, for some reason, doesn't like the idea of DreamWorks at all, so he hasn't watched any of those things. Kung Fu Panda and Madagascar are great series, trilogies. You should watch them. I mean, if you like kids'
just
films.
heard that Madagascar was shit, so that's why I never watched it.
Well,
But
I
do
mean,
like
it's
Kung
not
Fu
the best
Panda.
thing ever, but Kung Fu Panda is fucking amazing. Kung Fu Panda is the new Shrek. I mean, Shrek is good. And then there's the Kung Fu Panda is the next one up. Madagascar's kind of worse than both of them, but it's still alright.
I really want to rewatch Shrek because, I've gotten the impression people don't look back fondly on Shrek.
I
It's
don't know
become like a
why.
meme, and it seems
I
like
think-
people really hate that movie, and I remember loving it as a kid. I watched it a lot of times.
What I think is people remember it as a kid, and then they look back on it and they're like, "Whoa, all this is weird," and then they made a meme out of it because of that. But then, as memes
Well,
do,
I know some
they
film
just
people
became.
who
Oh,
really
really?
hate Shrek.
Well,
I know
they're
like
dumb. It's
some,
got great
some,
comedy.
animation fans, Yeah, I mean it was a fun movie. I don't remember anything about it that I'd be like, oh, fucking Shrek is garbage. I remember
Shrek
it
is
being
great.
pretty okay.
Shrek 1 is great. Shrek 2 is brilliant. And then Shrek 3 and 4 is just sort of like, yeah, I guess. That's how they went. But, nobody can argue that Shrek and Shrek 2 are terrible or bad. They're stupid if they do.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite movies, Hippo? Are you into movies?
I'm not actually into movies that much, mostly because I don't like sitting down and not being able to just leave. Like with a TV
that's
show.
a big part of why I didn't get into movies for a long time.
Because TV shows, they last an hour, maybe, or 30 minutes or something, and, if you don't want to watch another one, it's easy to just stop. But no, the movie, it doesn't feel right to pause a movie
Right.
and then come back to it, especially since DVDs, the early DVDs, they didn't save your place. They used to. They now do, but they didn't used to, and you couldn't really just leave it till another day. So, but yeah, movies. I like Reservoir Dogs. I like Terminator. I like I don't know. I like Alien 1. I haven't seen that many, but I have seen a lot of good classics.
Yeah.
A lot of animated movies. I like a lot of Disney stuff.
What's your favorite Disney?
Ooh,
Because I think most of them are garbage. So,
the
I'm
favorite.
interested to know which ones you like. I like Lilo and Stitch. That's
That
good.
is a good one. Yeah, I think it's hard because every time I think of my favorite, I forget. I mean, I did mention this before. I forget all the other ones. I can only think of Hercules because I just listened to the Munchie podcast and he said he liked Hercules, and I also like Hercules a lot. I feel like there's another one that I like more, but I can't remember. But I think my favorite animated movie is The Brave Little Toaster, which is I know Jesse is a fan
mentioned
of.
this, that you're a huge fan of The Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah, Brave Little Toaster 2 and 3 were Disney took the sequel, the rights to the sequels, which are not even slightly as good. Brave Little Toaster 1 is like a super amazing adventure with loads of emotional bits. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely see it. It's the greatest. Yeah.
I just can't seem to get started. It's like a Meatloaf song in the middle of the movie. It's awesome.
It is.
I grew up on
Have
those
you seen
movies
it?
as well. Yeah, I saw the first one probably 3 or 4 times, and then I know I saw the second and third, and I remember even as a kid being like, these suck. Because they just kind of did the same thing again, but with none
worse.
of the emotions. Yeah.
And the music, I'm not sure, but I think the music in Brave Little Toaster made me interested in becoming a musician down the line. Because I just love those songs so much. I had the old VHS tape, and I would go to the songs part, any of the songs, well, apart from the first one, which is sort of a sing-song thing. But like the techno one at the end with all the high tech computers, I would get to that point and I would listen to it, and then I would rewind and listen to it again, and rewind and listen to it again, and I would dance all the time. It was my favorite song ever. I love that fucking movie.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm just looking at the soundtrack. I was trying to see if
They have that
anyone-
spooky one in the middle
Yeah.
with all those
I just
dead
remembered
guys.
how much like Worthless is like a legit classic rock song. Like it's like a full on off Broadway single or something. It's great. Good music. Cool movie.
Yeah.
So recently, I guess not too recently at this point, but you kind of got into anime through the PCP, yeah?
Yeah, I've before I met you and Nate and all that, I had watched a few anime. I think, well, I watched Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, and Lucky Star, and that's about it. I think I watched Onegai Teacher or something weird as well.
Yeah.
But I'd never really gotten like into it aside from liking One Piece so much that it's my favorite thing.
But you're a huge manga guy, though, right? Well,
Well,
much bigger
I
of a manga guy.
only because I stopped watching the anime because the manga was coming out quicker. And
I don't
like,
just mean of One Piece, but you seem to have read a lot of like the long-running great like you've read Bakuman and Ice Shield 21 and
Oh yeah, once
or is
I
that all
started
of them?
reading the manga of One Piece and stuff, and Naruto and Bleach, I think I didn't read the manga of Death Note. I was a fan of Death Note as well, anime. But on those sites, I saw all these things. I was like, I'm bored. I'll read Ice Shield 21, and it just so happened to be the fucking best thing I've ever seen in terms of sports manga. And then there's what did you say, Bakuman? I think it was just because those ones were like high up on the popular list next to One Piece. And I was at a certain time, I was like, oh cool, I'll check it out. I actually read Kimi ni Toroke as well because that was up there for a while.
Huh. How did it frustrate you to no end while reading it that the two never fucking hook up for so fucking long?
I think I actually gave up of reading it, but it was kind of cute. There's quite a lot of manga I kind of forget about that I've read, like Ichigo 100%. I think I was into that sort of romance sort of stuff for a while. That was cool, except it wasn't because it took too long for anything to happen.
Did you ever get into like Negima or Love Hina or any of those?
I got into Love Hina. I got into the dating sim that was around, the Flash dating sim of Love Hina. I didn't know what Love Hina was, but it was a dating sim, and it was like, hey, the girls, you date them.
Like a fan-made pornographic dating sim, right?
I don't think I ever got to the porn part, if there was.
I see.
But yeah, it was probably fan-made. I didn't know anything about it. But it was really shitty looking, and it was a really shitty sort of Flash game with gradients everywhere. You know, the sort of Flash gradients.
Yeah. So what animes are you into now? I'm gonna go ahead and guess the same ones the rest of the PCP are into, which is all the Gainax shows.
Yeah, there's Cowboy Bebop, Space Dandy, Kill la Kill, Gurren Lagoon, Neon Genesis Eva, and what else? It's basically just stuff that I've heard you say is considered really, really a classic. Right. And I felt like I wanted to get into all the classics because they're at least guaranteed to be good. Like, I didn't want to go into experimenting.
I think it's something to do with the kinds of people we all are and the kinds of shows that Gainax makes, that there's like definitely a correlation there, because we all love Gainax shows. Like, we all love Eva, we all love Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann. I guess Nate doesn't love Kill la Kill that much, but like
he's being a weirdo about that. He clearly would like it. He just feels that Gurren Lagann is my baby and it's similar. Right. Fuck it. Stupid.
Well, what did you think of did you see Fooly Cooly?
Oh yeah, I saw Fooly Cooly as well. That was good. Didn't get it, but I like it.
Something about those shows, it's just like that studio, the way they make shows, like, because I mean those are all popular, but they're not like, you know, everyone loves them, and yet within our chat, everyone loves them. Like, there's no dissenting opinion about Gainax shows in our chat. And like, there's kind of a period at the start of 2015 where like we all simultaneously watched like a bunch of them, because it was like you and Jesse both watched Kill La Kill at like the same time.
I think it was. I don't know whether it was me. I feel like my decision. Oh yeah, I watched Gunbuster and Diebuster as well, and K-On! I forgot. But
yeah, well, because K-On! Was like, I definitely remember that I got you to start watching K-On!, and then Jesse started watching K-On!, and then I, as a result of that, made my K-On! Video. Like, because you guys were watching it, it got me watching it again.
Yeah,
that's
it's
what inspired me to
whenever
make the
any of
video.
us are like revisiting something and talking about it in the chat, you get all hyped about it. Like
Yeah.
if you or anyone were playing a game that I had made a review on, and you'd never played it
Yeah.
before, and you were talking about it, it'd be like, yeah, cool.
Right.
It's this sort of thing, because like I remember I was watching Ava and talking about it in the chat, and Jesse was like, "Oh shit, Ava's so cool," and then I feel like that prompted him to go on his crazy Ava binge and started writing
that's
fanfics
right.
and stuff.
That did happen. Yeah, it was all like early 2015, like late 2014, early 2015. There was this period where we were all kind of watching the same anime. Like, you watched Kill La Kill, Jesse watched it, and then as a result of you guys watching it, I watched it again. And then that also inspired my Gurren Lagann versus Kill La, because then you watched Gurren Lagann, and so I watched both shows back to back and wrote that video comparing them. And then you started watching Ava, and I started doing my Ava videos not long after that. So, like, pretty much whatever you were watching, we all ended up watching at the same time, and that sort of spawned some of those old videos. It was great. It was a great time, and then it kind of stopped, I guess, because we watched all the...
I ran out of cool anime to watch. Well, I
it's
didn't
just
run out
like...
of cool anime.
I guess because of the fact that, like, those are all shows that both Nate and Jesse also know about, then, like, it's easier for me to be like we all kind of like Ava, so of course you had to watch it, or Cowboy Bebop, you know?
Yeah,
We're
it was like me, because I was like the noob, I was new to it, and you were like,
yeah.
You were all feeling my new good vibes about it, or whatever.
Right.
Like, I was getting
And not
all
too
hyped.
long later, like, Devu watched all those shows once he joined the chat, because, like, we kept talking about all of them, you know? Well, I don't know. I guess he had already seen Kill La Kill and Gurren Lagann, but he definitely watched Cowboy Bebop and Ava, like, once he started hanging out with us and shit. But yeah, like, it's I guess that's like the TPC canon, is like all the Gainax shows and Cowboy Bebop and Space Dandy. Have you not watched Samurai Champloo yet?
I have not.
Well, you should probably watch that one, because it's like the third in the trilogy of Cowboy Bebop and Space Dandy and Samurai Champloo, or it's the one in the middle, which me and Jesse are both longtime fans of. Though Jesse has said he can't watch Samurai Champloo because it makes him
that
too
Jesse really
emotional.
likes, the ninja one.
Ninja
There's a ninja one? There's a ninja one that Jesse really likes. I forget it. What is...
A ninja. Oh, Ninja Scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Is
movie.
Oh, is it a movie? Well, I'll watch it.
Yeah. It's like a movie from the mid-90s that's just like nothing but violence and kicking ass. It's great. And tits. Tits, violence, and kicking ass. Yeah, it's harder for me to, like, get you to watch other anime that I like, because, you know, like, it's hard to get everyone into something. I feel like I'm the only guy in the PCP who, like, people say this thing is good and I immediately want to check it out. Like, everyone else seems to really need to have their arm twisted in order to get into something.
Yeah, me more than most. I think I feel like my time is precious, even though I don't do much with it a lot of the time.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
exactly how Jesse
I have
and
so
Nate
many
act.
other things to get into that I already know that I want to get into. Why would I get into this new thing, you know?
Yeah.
Occasionally
totally
it
get
works.
Yeah.
With, like, you say Berserk is great, you would really like it. I'm like, sure.
Oh, yeah, we
I
got you
guess.
to read Berserk. I forgot.
And then I eventually did, and it's the greatest fucking thing ever.
Well, that was one that, like, I very deliberately wanted you to read Berserk because, like, knowing your taste, I felt like it was perfect for you because it's got, like, you know, like it's fantasy with skeletons, and it's got this dark plot and this, like, really strong main character, and you like shows like Breaking Bad and stuff like that, and I felt like it's along those lines in a way. So, I felt like you needed to read Berserk, and I was not going to stop talking about it until you did it.
Yeah, there are actually quite a lot of, like, really saddening moments. Like, not saddening, but, like, really, like, you just feel like shit after like that bit where there's, like, that how do you explain it? It's like a big sack
Rape
of ooze, and they throw the women in it, and they get raped through the ooze, and then they spawn demon babies, and that's just a fucking and it's like there's it's disgusting, but I kind of like it.
There's definitely a period, like, I guess it's like right around when Shirk showed up, and like it was kind of becoming like a little too magical girly, and then I think maybe he wanted to like throw it back in the other direction and just made like a lot of rapes happen like in a row. And it was like, this has gotten exponentially rapier. Yeah, there's a lot of rape in Berserk. I remember reading this, like, one of my first exposures to Berserk was this, like, 4chan copy pasta. It was just this guy going on a rant about how he was like, every single fucking chapter I see some new kind of dick. It's like Miura just sits around dreaming up new kinds of demon dicks. I've seen every kind of dick imaginable, raping every kind of human imaginable. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. That's what Berserk is. Myriad colors, phantom dicks. So I guess that's all the animes. What's your favorite anime?
So.
What's the best one? I guess One Piece. Well, that's
I don't know what. Yeah, the manga is the best one ever. I don't know about the anime. I mean, I watched like I don't know how many episodes there are. I guess 300. I watched 400. I don't know, a lot of episodes of that anime because I didn't know like anime could be more than just what that show was, which was kind of limited. Like it looked like the manga, but it wasn't as well produced as other anime that I've seen since.
Right.
So I don't know whether I'd like that the most, but I think it's either Gurren Lagann plus the second movie with the giant guy, giant Kamina, space Kamina. That's important. You need that. I don't know why didn't know why that wasn't in the show, because I kept seeing that scene of him.
Right.
You know, be a huge Kamina, and it wasn't in the show, and I was like, oh, what happened? So it's either that or K-On!, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Probably both together.
I gotta talk about this in this podcast because I don't know when else I'd get the opportunity. The specific instance that caused me to rewatch K-On! And write about it. And actually, I think this instance is what made K-On! Into my number one favorite anime, and it's all because of you. Because of Otakon 2014. Because, I mean, not Otakon, BronyCon 2014. Because that's the year you didn't get to go. And you went to that camp thing you were talking about where you take care of disabled kids. And there's a 2-part episode of K-On! In season 2. It's episodes 4 and 5, where in episode 4, all the older girls go on this trip to what was it, Kyoto, I think.
Yeah.
They go on a trip to Kyoto and they all hang out and like, you know, they're telling all these stories to each other and like they come up with like these memes within themselves, like where they all just up at night saying skull and lycopene for some reason. And it's just this it's really adorable, but like Azusa, the youngest member, didn't get to go because she was in, you know, another grade. So then in the next episode we see what she was doing like at home with the with her other 2 friends, and like, you know, like she keeps getting texts from the other girls and she's like totally jealous that she didn't get to go, but you know, she has her own little adventure. And like the parallel between the Horseshoe Crew and you not getting to go and you being the youngest member and you having to do something else, it was like spot on how accurate it was. You know, we came back with our memes, our the Lord of Shit Mountain meme that we were all saying and stuff, and then I literally, just thinking about this, like once I realized, because I had already been thinking that our adventure reminded me of episode 4, like when we were up all night like saying these things and giggling, I was like, oh, this is just like that scene from K-On! And then once I realized that you were Azunyan, I remember like screaming in the chat about it, like, oh my god, Gibbons Azunyan, and I just started fucking crying. Like I just started losing my shit all over the place over the fact that I had just lived out a K-On! Arc, and like that legitimately was like such a powerful feeling that I was like, K-On! Might be the best anime ever. And then I watched it again and I cried during those episodes just thinking about it. Like I actually cried a lot at the, like I was a little like, I think I was on painkillers at the time because I'd broken my foot. I don't know if that made me more emotional, but I like consistently kept crying while watching K-On! And thinking about you and how you were Azunyan. And I kept messaging you, like, as I was watching the show, I was like, everything about Azunyan is what you are. She's into dad rock. Her parents are musicians.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, she made a reference to Jimi Hendrix, and no, she made a reference to Jimmy Page, which is the lead guitarist of Led Zeppelin. I was like, whoa, nobody does that. Everybody talks about Hendrix. Nobody talks about Page. She's the coolest. I like her. So yeah, even on that level. As a character, I identify with her more than the others.
I believe I had set out that I thought Jesse, because I can't remember. I think I said Jesse was Yui, and that because the way he acted around you was like Yui and Azunyan, where Jesse always like acted very like protective of you and like you were his little brother and like you're his favorite kind of thing, and it just really reminded me of Yui and Azusa. And then like Nate is obviously fucking Ritsu, and Ben would be Mio, but that's not really a good comparison. And then I think I had myself as Tsumugi, and Tom as Nodoka. And I guess now we have Jeff, so he has to be like Jun-chan, I guess. I don't know who he would be. And I guess Mage can be Ui. Why not?
Mage is
I had to go through all of them. But yeah. It was just really striking, and that was what got you to watch K-On! I think, was that I kept saying, you're just like Azusa, and then you decided to watch it on that basis, and then we kind of like finished it up around the same time, and you got to the movie, which was in London, and it was like literally your hometown.
Yeah, the place where they play on the big grass thing is actually a place that I know, so there was a few places like that I just like, oh, I know that sign, I know that corner. They obviously went to London to get reference images, which is really cool. Yeah,
it's a perfect show. It's a 10 out of 10. It's the best anime ever made. Makes my pee pee go poo poo. I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a good question, Hippo. What makes your pee pee go poo poo?
A titty. Toot.
That's a perfect answer. Tell me about your waifus.
Oh yeah. I talked about this a bit in the waifus cast, I think. I can't remember. I have
I forgot
a bunch. Yeah, that was like the second one.
Yeah.
There's Vriska, who is my number one, I think. Yeah, Vriska from Homestuck. Diamond Tiara from My Little Pony. I try to collect one from each thing I like a lot.
Yeah.
I think, who else is there? There's Marceline from Adventure Time. And Undyne from Undertale. And Raven from Teen Titans. I think you did mention at one point that I tend towards gray girls, and it just so happens that I did love Raven.
Yeah.
As well. So
yeah, all
Raven
of them
also.
are either like Other than Diamond Tiara, they are all literally gray skinned. How the fuck does that happen? That's like
I
the
don't
weirdest
know.
coincidence. I mean, they all have similarities in their personality that even if they weren't gray, you would understand why you liked all of them. But the point stands that they are all gray skinned, with the exception of the pink pony.
Yeah. Who just so happens to have a grey-skinned counterpart
Yeah.
that I'm not into as much.
A weird missed opportunity there. But I guess the exception proves the rule.
Yeah, so my waifus are, if you know those characters, you can tell that they're all bitches, they're all bitchy, they're all powerful, strong, independent women, and they boss people around. And I guess I like that in a woman, I'm not sure.
Oh my god, have you seen Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I think you would really like that show. I think you will like all the girls in that show. Because they're all bitchy, powerful, crazy women. I can't think of which one will be your favorite, because I don't know if it'd be Panty or Stocking. It'd probably be one of the demon girls, Scanty and Knee Socks. Because they're more of, like, the domineering type. They both believe in, like, absolute order. But they're, like, the bad guys. Because the main characters are all about anarchy. But they're the good guys. It's great. You will love that fucking show.
Okay.
I definitely guarantee it. It's the same director as Gurren Lagann and Kill La Kill. And, Davu's a big fan. Jesse hated it, but he only watched the first 2 episodes. And he watched them dubbed, and he really hated that the girls swear constantly, and it sounds terrible.
It does sound terrible dubbed. I looked at it, well, because of the swearing.
Yeah, but that's
like
the
I
funny
saw a
thing about it
comparison.
is that, like, people constantly say that you, like, that's one of those shows that everyone's like, oh, you have to watch it dubbed because the swearing is so funny. And I'm like, no, the swearing sounds gross in English. Because what makes it funny in Japanese is that they use English swear words randomly in their sentences, and it's really fucking hilarious. Because they'll say, like,
Oh, do they?
Kono bichi! You know, and it's really fucking funny.
One of my favorite things in anime is Japanese voice actors saying English words. Yeah, I just love that so much.
They do it constantly, and it's mostly bitch. They'll say "kono bichi," bitch, or like "what the fuck." It happens a lot. Like, it's great. I find that way funnier than some like American girl just going "what the fuck, you fucking bitch," and I'm just like, oh yeah, come on, that's tacky. You know.
Yeah, I should watch that then. That's one on the list.
Yes, it's pretty short, so you could probably do it in like a day. But it's got that like old school like cartoon episode setup where each episode is like 2 15-minute parts that have like an opening title card type thing like Ed and Eddie used to have and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. People always talk about it. It's very influenced by Western cartoons, but not to the extent that people make it out like it is, because people make it out like that's all the show is like a reference to Western cartoons. But it's definitely heavily influenced by them, and it's a good.
Yeah.
Hippo, you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I was worried you might have cut out again, because Davu joined in, and I'm like, oh no. It's going to be just like when Nate joined in.
It feels stable. We can keep going.
Yeah. We've been going strong for a good little while. So, you have made the remark that you think that you're not a good drawer. Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, the drawcasts, both of them I'm ashamed of, because the first one I was being like, haha, I'm bad, but then they were all so good, it was like, why did I do that? Why didn't I try? Like, even if I tried my best, it wouldn't have been as good as them, but at least I would have looked not terrible bad. And then the second one, I thought, I'll try really good, but then everyone was, like, hilarious and interesting, and I was like, damn, I should have been hilarious and interesting for this one. I just fucked up both times. So people don't know, really, unless they see my DeviantArt, what I'm good at drawing at, but I don't know. I'm not, like, I used to be really good. I mean, I could draw, like, a really good life drawing of a person. I have lots of good life drawing. I have lots of good drawings that I've done. But when it comes to a tablet, I'm generally just sort of fucking. I'm bad. I'm worse. I got to learn how to use a tablet better. Even though I've made 3 animated films with it.
But you said that's why you like animation, because it hides how bad you are at drawing.
Yeah, you can draw some like my first film, the Fish at the Door one. The reason all the frames wobble so much is because I drew the first guy and I was like, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look good. I can't keep him on screen for more than 1 second, but I gotta. So I just drew the same frame over again and made it loop, so that it was deliberately wobbly, and then it was cool.
Yeah, it was adorable.
Yeah, people liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah! Gudra! Gudra! I don't know why I keep lapsing into Gudra these days. I think a Gudra bit me, and I've just been like where Gudraing.
Got a weird gooey rash on your back.
Yeah. Oh God. Gudra. That's disgusting. Oh my God, it's like a Ren and Stimpy image in my head now. That's disgusting.
Oh
no. I always liked your art style. I still think your drawings are good. I liked your Gudra. I liked the face on it. I described it as a gormless expression, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm bad at drawing. I just, like, in comparison to people like Ben, even people like Ben, I mean, Tom and Mage are like, they can draw like professionals. And Ben's like really got a unique style that's very Ben, and it works and it's cool. And then I've got mine, which is like, it's a style, but it's very easily replicatable, I think, because it's simple.
I don't know. I could tell your style immediately when I see it. Like, every time you ever drew, like, a pony character, I would know that you had drawn it.
Oh, well,
Like,
yeah. Now that you say that, I guess that is true. My pony OC was very different from everyone else's.
Right.
Because I drew it myself, and it was good.
Yeah, both you and Ben had that, like, that kind of style where, like, because me and Jesse got, like, you've drawn both mine and Jesse's ponies, I think, in your style for, like, use in different things. And,
I think I draw your guy once for the analysis compilation, and then I made a bunch of poses for Jesse for Horseshoe Finale, when he wanted to act like me, which was cool.
Yeah. I had to stop myself before I go full goo. Your main career goal is to be a YouTuber, right? Like, that's the one you want to pursue the most.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird, because, like, the opportunities I have, I could become an actual animator, or a writer, or a musician, if I just went in one direction or the other. I was already a pretty good musician by the time I was considering going for an animation degree, and it was like, what do I do? Do I do music? Do I go on the road? Do I become a band guy? Or do I do animation and do all that? I don't know whether I like animation. So I had to make a decision then, and I chose animation, and now, after doing 3 years of it, I'm not sure that I would like to do that for my entire life, although I could. And then YouTube became a possibility that I was getting better at, and I made a few videos and they were good, and I really like them, and I think I could be better. I could be one of those 900k sub weirdos in the gaming community. Like, if I tried, it's like, I have opportunities and there's too many good ones to pick, and it's kind of hard to decide. But I guess YouTube, right now, I'm doing YouTube while I wait for potential other things. But I want YouTube to, if while I'm waiting to do other things, my YouTube grows to a point where I can say, okay, that's what I'm gonna do, then that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Well, I think what's great about YouTube is that it's pretty easy to imagine how all of those talents can be used in YouTube videos. Like, you can pretty easily, like, incorporate animations and music and all that into a video. We all just saw, I mean, Nate didn't make the music itself, but what he did with that Kenny Loggins song in his new video was like, yeah, this is a good idea. Like, this is a good way to make a funny YouTube video, is to, like, if
Yeah.
you can sing, then sing in a video. You know, if you can play guitar, find a way to get guitar in there. Or like Yotam Perel, where he does like his animations with songs and shit, and then just
Yeah.
makes like whole albums out of nowhere.
Really, the YouTube is most likely the best, like the best decision to go for, but it's been slow, so I don't know. I just need to be making more videos more quickly and putting them on the internet. And
Yeah, well, I think that's like the big fear that I have, like with, or not fear so much as like what I need to see with you and Nate is like, we all kind of are under this mindset of like, we're never gonna know for sure if you would be successful until you get fast. Because like, if you do put out like 30 videos in a year and you still don't get big, then it'll be like, okay, maybe it's not happening, you know. But when it's only like 2 videos a year, like you did in the last year, then it's like, well, we can't really say for sure until, you know, we get a better read on it. Same with Nate, where it's like his channel's growing really slow because he's putting out videos really slow. And like,
he's got more subs than me though. That fuck.
Yeah,
asshole.
But then you've got like Jesse over there who's puts out videos constantly and doesn't grow, but he has a huge Patreon. So like, you know, maybe you guys will end up like that. Like, it's really hard to say, but until you have enough videos, I just don't think we can judge it, you know.
That's why I'm trying to do 2 per month until the end of the year to see what happens.
Yeah.
I really gotta buckle down.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Because number one thing I want in the world is more Best Guy Ever, more Hippocrit, and more of my Japanese animes, as opposed to more Endless Chess vlogs and Blue Glows. Not that I don't enjoy those. But god damn it, I need to see everybody on top of the world.
Yeah.
Not just me and Jeff. Jeff with his fucking like 10 avenues of income that he has now, that son of a bitch.
Fucking Jeff. Who is he? I don't like him. I don't know him. We talked once about playing Game Boy Advance in bed, and that's it.
That's true. You haven't really talked to him much at all. He makes too much money, and therefore he's a piece of shit. Who are your favorite YouTubers, currently and of all time?
Currently, I don't know. I really am only really watching the Procrastinators plus the Sleepycast and that Hearthstone guy, Kriparian. And Kriparian's fun, but he's not like a really great YouTuber.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. There's... I forget all of the ones that I like. All of the ones.
I know you like... Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yotam... Oh, you said Yotam Perel is a good animator.
Yeah.
He's cool. I like his stuff. I like Hot Diggity Demon as well. Really great animations, like ridiculously good for YouTube. He doesn't get paid enough.
He puts way too much work into his animations. Like,
it's come out ridiculous.
They come out very rarely, and I often feel like the quality of the writing does not deserve the level of animation he puts into them. I'm like, because I don't often find them that funny. I'm just like blown away by how much effort he put into something that is sometimes just weird and like not even really funny.
I guess.
But you recently commissioned. You commissioned an art piece from him of Vriska.
I did. He was doing commissions, and he never does those. So I paid him a bunch of money for a Vriska with a hippo with a little hat, and that's cute, and I love it. I think it's just his art style and his animation skill that I really like so much. In terms of favorite, AVGN is probably my favorite YouTuber because he's got such a great back catalog, and he's really charming, and I love him.
And he's still not shit.
Yeah,
He's still doing pretty
There was
okay
there was
stuff.
there was a portion of AVGN episodes during which he was filming his movie that were sort of I don't know, but then afterwards they were like there was only like 4 or 5 of those that were just sort of okay, but they were never bad, you know. They always were decent enough, you know, better than most. It's amazing that he's gone so far. I mean, he's clearly a genius.
Yeah.
Clearly got the power.
Now, I know you used to be a big Total Biscuit fan, right?
Oh yeah, I like Total Biscuit. He doesn't really make... He's never really made single videos that have like blown me away. I just really respect him as like a journalist, not really a journalist, but like a commentator. Like he has a lot of correct opinions about lots of issues about gaming news and stuff. I always love his content patch. I used to love listening to him on the podcast because that was fun, but the podcast takes too long and it's not that fun. Not fun enough to waste like 3 hours every week.
Right.
But I like him. He's really good at the news thing.
You used to be a big Game Grumps fan, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, John Grumps is my favorite Let's Play series of all time. I recently re-watched basically all of it, which was
Jesus
kind of,
Christ.
you know, I tried to watch from the very beginning in order of playlists, and I got quite close to the end. I think I was like at Mario Tennis or Mario Golf or something that I didn't remember really watching the first time, and then I got bored. But yeah, that's like a huge amount of my favorite comedy comes from John era Grumps. Dan era Grumps is also great, but it feels different. And well, you know, actually, now I think about it, it's also got a huge amount of hilarious moments.
Yeah. But we
It's
all
all
kind
great.
of like...
Game Grumps is great,
There was like
except
a
it
huge
isn't anymore.
mass exodus of TPC members from watching Game Grumps like at the start of this year. Like,
Yeah, they just
when they
they were
got into
doing
the fucking
Bloodborne,
Mario Maker thing, it was
and
like,
they finished Bloodborne. They did Mario Maker and some other game that nobody cares about, and they just kept doing Mario Maker, and it was boring, and I don't care. And we all gave up and quit. And I don't think any of us have really gone back, except to occasionally look at the weird celebrity guests they've been getting.
yeah,
Like that what's the guy, Steve-O?
yeah.
I ended up
Claudio
listening to
fucking Sanchez. I don't want to get into that again. My Digibros fans are fucking sick of hearing about that. But yeah, God, what happened? I don't understand.
that. Yes, it's weird. I mean, so much of that not early YouTube stuff, but like, I think it was mostly the Pony era where JonTron was amazing and Game Grumps was also amazing. And it was that really cool, and we were all like, you know, that's why I used the banana shoes song at the end of the BronyCon videos that I made.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, that's sort of the thing, that's sort of a pony thing, almost.
Banana
To
Shoes
me, anyway.
is great. It's a classic. It takes you back to a bygone era and really like is like, yeah, times were once good. JonTron used to be great. Aaron used to be great. Hell, that he wasn't in that song, but Dan used to be great too. And now they're all washed up has-beens. Although,
Yeah.
Did you see that new video that Barry made about Skyward Sword? That was pretty
I did.
good.
That was pretty. Yeah, it's got a lot of that Barry almost funny humor, but it works. I liked it.
That's the best thing to come out of the Game Grumps all year, probably.
Yeah. But the whole Game Grumps and JonTron being shit, it's sort of changed the way I view YouTube, and it's less about being a consumer of stuff. I mean, I still watch a lot of YouTube, but like, I feel less like a consumer on YouTube and more like a creator, where I'm probably the best guy I know at what I do, aside from James Rolfe.
Yeah, I would definitely say that it seems like for you and Nate especially, since you were both such big JonTron fans, like, him turning to shit in some ways did more good than harm, because it, like, made it so there were shoes that everyone kind of wanted to fill, you know? Like,
Yeah.
wow, JonTron sucks now. That means we can now be the new one. You know, like he needs to be replaced. We need to kick him off his throne. Let's get up there. Would you say that it inspired you in that way?
I'm not sure whether it would like it was a direct inspiration. I think it was just sad, but I felt good about myself
Yeah.
in general at the same time. I don't know whether it was directly related, but I feel better about my own videos in general because I'm like, yeah, like because people like you and Victor have said, you know, I'm better than JonTron now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? You're right. I am better than he is, and that's
Yeah.
weird and cool.
Oh, John, you bastard. What happened? You were so beautiful for a time.
Really, Ethan is like the new funny guy that I watch. HCH3, I forgot to mention him.
Yeah. I watch all the HDHD and Ethan and Ela videos, but they're never like great, you know? It's usually just like, yeah, all right, that was pleasant. Every once in a while you get one that's like memorable, but you know.
I think the stuff he does in public where he's being a weirdo is like
Yeah.
It's like it makes up for the fact that the jokes aren't that great. It's just like
Yeah.
the spectacle of him making an ass of himself in public is like, whoa, cool.
Yeah, and he does it in a not douchebaggy way, whereas I think a lot of those people, like, you know, because it's funny because he's so close to being the stuff he makes fun of, like the prank bros and everything, but it's just like the important difference is that he's just not an ass while doing it, you know? Like those people are like damaging and scary, and why are they out in public doing that? Whereas with Ethan, he's always the butt of the joke.
Yeah. I mean, I think you were saying you're done with Filthy Frank, or someone was done with Filthy Frank, maybe Jesse, because he was doing all those things that, like, he was doing these things that are just as bad as all the prank bro things, because he's just being a weirdo at people, and he's not making any attempt to make it like charming. It's just as weird as possible. And I'm like, yeah, that, like when he had that ravioli in his pocket, or was that? I forget what that was. I don't know. It was weird. He was going around to people with it.
Yeah, well, like I have a lot of like the reason I followed Filthy Frank for a long time is just I have a lot of respect for like the physical comedy, like when I mean with Ethan too, that he'll like when he did the fucking boy band thing, and it's like he really changed his whole fucking appearance just for this video, you know.
Yeah.
He'll like shave off his head and fucking spray paint himself with tanning spray and just become this monster for often like days or weeks on end, you know, like going through this physical transformation for the comedy, and I really appreciate that. And like Filthy Frank will do stuff like there's one video where he like just like falls out of a car door while it's moving and just like rolls on the pavement, and it was just like, oh my god, like that looked painful as shit. But I do think that Filthy Frank stuff has gotten to the point where like it's just kind of crass, and I mean I know that's the point, but it's not quite tongue-in-cheek enough for me to think that he's not just being a dick, you know. And he's not really being a funny dick. Like, I think it would be possible to just be a total asshole and for that to also be hilarious if it was so over the top. But it's not. It's like he's afraid of crossing that line, and so he doesn't quite become like a total dick that would be funny to watch, you know, voyeuristically. But, that's just what I thought of off the top of my head. That could all be totally unsubstantiated and just me wanting to not like Filthy Frank. I hate the whole circle jerk between Frank, JonTron, and Ethan. I'm not impressed by it.
And now potentially Donkey as well.
Yeah, Donkey seems to be like on the fringes of it. Just because it's...
I mean, we circle jerk a lot, but
all of our content is good, and we don't circle jerk any... Like, what bothers me about it is that, like, they're all putting each other in their main videos just to have them there.
You said this somewhere else.
Like that it'll be
Yeah,
like
they're
you're
all in the
watching a
things.
JonTron video and then suddenly Ethan's there and he's not there to like serve. I mean, it was funny in the Kool-Aid Man one, but like when they went to that like karate dojo, it was like, why these two? Why is this happening? This is just, it's just for the sake of having them both on screen in the same video, you know. I don't think it enhanced anything to have them both there, which is like all of us TPC members have been since the Pony Days pretty strict about not doing frivolous collaborations. It went
Yeah,
pretty
there
poorly
was
when me
one.
and you did it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I tried to make it. It was weird as well because we hadn't really talked even that much.
Right.
But I asked you for a collab. I can't remember why we did it, but we did it, and
No,
it
I
was.
think I came to you about it because
Oh yeah, that's why I was
didn't
so up
want
for
to
it,
talk.
'cause it's like, oh my god, it's Digi.
Right. It was just that I didn't want to cover the episode myself because I that was at the point in season 4 where I was like doing weird shit and I was busy with other stuff and I was just like, this episode fucking blows and I don't want to talk about it. So I'll just jump in on somebody else's video and I'll jump in on you because you were one of the people I respected. So, you know, I always had this mindset of like I wanted to collect the people who I like the most. So like if I thought your videos were great, then I wanted some way to associate us so that it would like, you know, help you out in a way. So I was like, yeah, I'll be in a Hippo video and that'll draw more attention to Hippo and I don't have to make a video about it. And then it was we didn't put a lot of effort into making it like work. It just kind of sucked. Like particularly the collaborative bit of it was just like awkward and terrible. Probably my fault because I'm not funny.
Well, I think we just didn't really try on the script. Like, you wrote what you were going to say about the thing, and then I wrote a sentence, and then that was it. We didn't go over it again.
Yeah, I'm just...
really, all I wanted to do was... I wanted to avoid the classic, that guy with the glasses, whoa, what are you doing here segment. Right. I just said, oh, you're here, and then we talked. Yeah. But yeah, it didn't make up for the fact that we didn't really have anything to do with each other in the video.
Right. I really want us to do more, like the best. I think Best Guy Ever's Monster Musume is the best collaboration that we have ever done as a group. Like it was so, because that's the only way to like. He integrated all of us, but it didn't matter that it was us. It just mattered that it was some guy doing something weird with a monster character. You know, like it could have been anybody really. So it wasn't about like, oh, hey, my friends are all in the video. It was like that was a bonus to the fact that it also made sense in the context of the video. And that's what I want collabs to be. I don't want to just put Jesse in a video because he's Jesse. It has to be that he serves a function, you know?
Yeah. Oh, there was that one other collab thing where you asked me and Jesse to do some like things at the end of your video.
And that one went well because it was... the Leap of Faith video, and it's like 15 minutes long, and it's basically the script was really depressing, and I was worried that it was like too depressing and edgy sounding, so I was like, what if I like drew attention to this fact by having jokes in there, but the joke is that like I tell you guys to lighten up the mood and you make nothing but cancer jokes. In a video where I was talking about my mom having had cancer, I think I bring that up in the video, so it was like, you know, like no one could say, oh, you can't make cancer jokes, because like I just talked about like dealing with it like personally. So the joke is I'm like, Gibbon, tell a joke, and you're like, and then you just like, I fucked up, I didn't do it. It was great.
Yeah.
You should rewatch that sometime just for the ending bit, because like both of you sent me like too much, but it was all good. So I put like a little bit of it in the middle, and then I like left in all the other jokes you made at the end, and there's like 2 minutes of you just like rambling incoherently about clouds having silver lining, but then you get like diseases from the silver or something like that. It was It's classic. Everyone should go look it up.
I can't remember that at all.
You won't find it. It's in a playlist somewhere on my channel.
Oh.
Leap of Faith. My Little Pony episode. Yeah, it's a good. I watched it recently and I laughed a bunch. And then I died. I killed myself. So, how do you feel about the whole pony era of videos and about the show itself, like in retrospect?
Um, well, the way I mean, I like it the pony era because it's how I started getting into YouTube and making things frequently and getting better, and that's sort of what allowed me to get the courage to begin Hippocrit. Really, was that I was making videos and people liked them, and I was like, whoa, I could really do what I really want, video games. As for the show, though, I don't know. I liked a few episodes. What was the most recent season? 6? Is it 6 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a few of those. The first 3 were terrible, and after that, it's pretty great. So I think I still like the show. I'm just not too invested in anything to do with the fandom at all.
Right. I think
It's
we
just
all
sort of
kind of
like-
concluded that we didn't want to be involved with the fandom anymore.
Yeah, I mean, really, there isn't much to the fandom anymore. It's just, all the musicians are just sort of tired of it. All the artists are just sort of doing the same thing. And the
They're in
analysis
it for the money.
crew is...
They're all just in it
Yeah.
for the money. If you're still...
And the analysis people are fucking cancer, so
Yes,
I hate them all.
they are awful. You had a lot of experience with those people. Like, you were in that chat for a lot longer, and you talked
it's
to them
the
for longer.
the Bro-analysis Skype chat,
Yeah.
where I think you don't... Were you even invited to that?
Yeah, I was there at first, and I left after like a month or so.
Yeah, it's weird, because at the top, I think Skype usually says who used to be in the thing and who's left. Or maybe, no.
I don't
Maybe it's
think
just
so.
the people who just never talked. Yeah, because I saw Tommy Oliver was in there, but he never said anything. But all those people in there, I don't really want to get into it because it's sort of it's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff to say. But just they suck.
Yeah.
Most of them suck. I'm glad to have left it.
There's a
And if
good
you're
reason
listening
that
to
none
this-
of us are going to BronyCon again. Because,
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I like the con, kind of. But it is weird. I would rather go to a different con,
right.
if I could.
But instead, you're going to a conference in Virginia
Yes.
Beach, Virginia. I almost said my
now they know
address
where
for
you
some reason.
live. Yeah, don't do that.
I almost went through my entire address, and then I was like, wait a minute. Why
This
am
is
I
on
doing
the
that?
internet.
Not that my address is probably hard to find or anything, but I do want to open a P.O. box soon. So, have you thought about expanding and doing videos about anything other than video games?
Perhaps I was thinking maybe I could try an analysis of an anime, just so that because you always want one from people.
Yes.
You want more anime analysis, and I guess I could analyze One Piece anime, but I don't know. I
Probably best to wait.
There's
till
nothing-
after,
there's nothing-
Nate.
well, yeah, after Nate's done his, but then he'd probably say everything. I could analyze movies. Really, I just want to talk about stuff I like. So if it just happens to be something that isn't a video game, then I'll talk about it anyway.
Right.
It's a very nostalgia-based channel.
I mean, that's like theoretically, my channel has never been an anime channel. It's just that I only talk about anime. Like it's never been like this is just the only thing I care about, because I've done like a couple video game videos in there and like a couple film analysis, but it's like I don't care about anything other than anime. So
It's clear that your fans they know.
yeah. Well,
that
at
you're
this
smart
point,
enough to talk about things like Dark Souls, because everybody loved that video.
well, that
The
video
Dark Souls with
I think
Bloodborne.
that video hit it big outside of my main audience, like, because it has a fuckload of comments, and most of them are from people I don't recognize. So I really think it just got big in like the gaming circle and the Bloodborne fandom or Dark Souls fandom, like as opposed to my main audience for the most part. But yeah, I'm definitely seen as an anime YouTuber. I mean, which is completely fair. It's all I cover, but like it's never been technically an anime channel. But Hippocrit so far has been exclusively video games and I guess skeletons.
Yeah.
What is it
I
with you
guess
and
I
skeletons? What's the deal with that? Oh, finish what you were going
uh
to say first.
I forgot what I was gonna say, and now I want to talk about skeletons. All right, skeletons are cool because they don't need to say any words. They just swing their sword. I think I mentioned. I actually didn't really go into much depth in the skeletons video, but I love skeletons because of the Black Cauldron skeletons, which are really creepy and spooky and cool and dangerous, and the skeletons from Dark Cloud, because I don't know, I love Dark Cloud and skeletons in that. I think there's just something about the way a skull, it looks like a face because it's obviously a human skull, but it's like it's got this innate spooky quality because the eyes are black. And if you know anything about, weird, shitty, deviant art, creepypasta stuff, everybody always makes the eyes black to make it scary. If you go to like a cursed
That's why
Mario
everybody's
game.
afraid of black people.
Yeah, well,
But don't tish.
badumsh. That's why people are scared of you, because you wear black glasses,
Oh yeah.
sunglasses. But yeah, I don't know. I could go into the analysis of why a skeleton is. I mean, it's a symbol of death, and death is really cool. I don't know. I don't know why I like skeletons. I think I like the fact that they're a symbol of death, but they can be really goofy because they can't talk and they're just like they fall apart.
Yeah. I guess it's like there's something moe about skeletons in that like they simultaneously are imposing but also very fragile.
I actually had this idea. It was really weird, and I don't know whether it would ever exist in any form, but this idea for an anime where the main girl character gets turned into a skeleton, and it's like, oh no, my chest is flatter than that other girl now, or something. Which would be one of the things, but the main thing is obviously trying to fit in, because like she doesn't have any skin, so she's got to wear clothing all over herself, and people are like, huh, what's wrong? Why don't you show me your face? And it's like, yeah, why don't you speak? I don't have a voice box anymore, and she has to learn sign language, and she becomes friends with the deaf kid that nobody likes.
This would make an amazing one-shot. You really need to make a one-shot out of it. It's like 45 pages.
It's just the idea of having like a cute girl, but she's a skeleton.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's been done before.
I could totally see that working and being in like a weird offbeat magazine in Japan. Because Frank and Fran, you might like the manga Frank and Fran. I just bought the first 2 omnibus volumes of it today, but it's sort of that combination of like cuteness but mostly gruesomeness. It's about a girl named Fran who was like she's basically a Frankenstein monster person, but she's also like a doctor, and she lives out in this mansion in the middle of nowhere, and like she'll repair people, but she always turns them into like some kind of Kafka-esque nightmare. So, like, someone will come in and they'll be like, I broke my leg, and she's like, I can fix it, but I have to mutate it with this other animal, and then, like, she'll turn them into some kind of freakish monster, and, like, it'll alter their personality in some way, and it's fucking great. I think you might enjoy it. And Fran is adorable, so there's lots of cute girls.
I think I've just realized one thing about skeletons, which is the reason I don't like some skeletons, is that they can't have an expression. Like, if a skeleton were to just be a guy, and you call him over and he turns around, he'd just have that completely blank face because he doesn't have any face muscles. Right. He'd just be looking at you. You couldn't tell what he was what he was thinking. Like, when people have skeletons and they give them angry skeleton eye holes, it's like, that's silly.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Well, I mean, the way you would do it with the anime or manga version is that you use just all those, like, manga, like, blush and stuff, and, like,
yeah,
the like,
somehow
sweat drops
fucking
and
bones.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Because they're usually, like, drawn over the face more so than on it anyways. So I think it would work. I think it's a great idea. I want to read it back. Like, I have a picture in my head of what it would look like, and it seems really good. And I really want to read it. And I could totally see it being a chapter of Frankenfran, hilariously enough. Oh shit, David Boney, I'm Afraid of a Skeletons. One of my favorite music videos on the internet, on the Hippocrit channel. Which I heard that long before I actually tried to find the actual song, and I don't like the actual song nearly as much. Because the version you used is like this, it was like a weird karaoke version you found, I guess. And
Yeah.
I just kind of like the instrumental in that better than the actual song, and you mumbling about skeletons over it. It's just really funny. It's the best. I'm afraid of skeletons. I'm afraid of the world.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. The way I filmed that was my dad has these rotating colored lights that he uses for stage performances and stuff, and they were just in the room, so I let's plug them in and get all the Halloween decorations and just go nuts. And it was me and both of my brothers. We were just having a fucking blast, being idiots, and I asked Henry to film me singing, and then I filmed them doing everything else, and I just filmed it over and over until I had a bunch of weird shots, and then I put it together and it worked. It was
great. It's definitely one of the most fun things that has ever happened. Like, it's just pure enjoyment. Every time I watch it, I'm like, yeah, this is great.
It was originally going to be part of the 20 Skeletons video, but I made it its separate thing because I felt like people would want to rewatch the cool music video and not have to go through all the bullshit. So
yeah, I'm glad you made that decision because I have watched it a bunch of times. So we're getting towards the end here. Do you have anything you really wanted to say on this podcast that you haven't had a chance
to? Not really. I mean, I probably will remember something like 2 hours from now, like, fuck! But right now I can't think of much else that I want to say. I think I've talked about myself, I talked about what I like and what I do. Yeah, go subscribe to Hippocrit YouTube. And it's spelt like hippo as in hippopotamus and crit as in critic.
There will be a link in the description.
I know, but Google still changes it to hypocrite, and it's wrong.
That's
hypocrite
stupid.
Is the real word. I don't like it. I invented hypocrite. It's mine.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.